Hello.
Sugar Rush, you're in trouble.
Why is Sugar Rush in trouble? So you know.
Sugar Rush called us old.
So Chris does his countdown lately. He goes 3-2. He goes 3-2, and then it comes on and catches me off guard. Gabe says 3-2-1, and so we catch the 1 on live. So it crosses over and you hear the 1, right? Jen says nothing. She just it's live. It just shows up live.
I like to be candid.
She's just ready, set, go. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're live.
Hello.
Everyone calm down. The old people. Wait a minute.
See, that's what I meant.
What did he say? Scroll back up. The old people need to figure out how to get it going.
Figure out what button to push.
Is he not wrong?
Wrong.
He's not wrong.
You're wrong about
so it's
the old.
The only reason we can get
We
mad.
don't know what button.
The only reason we can get mad is that I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
Yeah.
It is Queen Jen. It is a Jen. It's 2 days of Jen because Jen is here today and tomorrow. I know, Jen on a Thursday. It's like Christmas come early.
We let people take vacations. So.
We also have a secret guest in the studio.
But we don't know how to turn the camera on.
My longtime buddy Zach is in the studio with us. Whether he chooses to speak to us or not will be up to him.
Yeah.
He is having a day off here in Arizona.
Where do I hit?
There you go. Oh yeah.
Hey, testicles. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm here. It's my day off. I'm chilling.
I learned today, and I'm gonna out Zach live. That Zach, I was asking him, what he's been doing. He's a what would I call you? I say videographer all the time. Is that a fair statement?
I use creative producer.
He's a creative producer. He films, he photos, he does all sorts of crazy stuff. He's a really, really creative talent. Does some amazing work. And today I learned that he runs the Pokemon stream.
Yeah.
Well,
for their monthly.
I don't run it, but I'm a big part of the operation.
There you go.
Hawkinson said it sounds like Ryan Gosling. You know what? You're right.
He does sound a lot like Ryan Gosling.
Hey, there you go.
Paid professional camera nerd. Yes.
But yeah, so he gets to travel around the globe to a different country every month to do the Pokemon stream. So when they do you said they do the video game, the card game,
and the Pokemon Go.
And the Pokemon Go, which is the app thing.
Correct.
Oh, geez, I don't know. Yeah. He's like, I don't know. Don't ask me.
From what I see with my eyes, they're on a phone, and then so we do a phone for the Go. The video game is on, I guess, like a Switch, and then the card game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Jacob still play Pokemon or no? He plays something.
None of them ever played Pokemon. They play One Step. They play right now. I think they're all playing Gundam, the Gundam card game.
And I didn't realize that Pokemon was more than just Pikachu until I started working with this client.
Oh God, it's like it's
ridiculous.
It's like I like the Snorlax.
I have no idea.
I don't.
It's just a fat one that sleeps all the time. It's right up my alley.
Charizard, I think I hear that a lot.
Charizard. Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome everybody.
Hello.
Zach is super cool. Yeah, Zach is. I don't get to see enough of Zach. We see each other. What was the last time? 3 years ago?
Probably about 3 years ago.
I think it was like 3 years ago. He was doing a shoot here, and we got to hang out and do some drinking at a hotel lobby bar out by a fire.
Yeah, by a fire.
Out by a fire.
Yeah.
In an Arizona winter.
Yeah. And then how long have I known you? 26 years?
Oh, good God, man.
I think so.
I mean, I was still in Dallas.
99, 2000.
99.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1999. It was probably the year I left Dallas, as a matter of fact. 98, I think.
Oh my gosh, and I'm drinking a great cold beer. And I'd love to tell you which one it is, but they're not going to pay you for it.
No free pub.
That's our thing. No free pub.
Yeah, if you want to advertise on here, let us know.
No free pub.
It is in a green bottle, though.
Pull that closer. The mic.
Okay.
Yeah, just get it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Basically, like you're eating it.
There you go.
Perfect.
Impossible Girl 521. Happy birthday.
What?
Yeah, Impossible Girl said, I get to spend my 50th birthday with you today.
What?
That's a big one. Milestone birthday.
Nice.
Absolutely awesome.
We've both been there, done that.
Absolutely awesome.
Well, I hope you are having a great day.
Happy birthday.
Are you 50 and do you kick?
Yeah.
Anybody remember that out there?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So we went to, when my friend turned 50, we went. She had an SNL themed birthday party.
That was Crispin Glover.
Specifically, so she could.
Crispin Glover, and I can kick.
No,
No.
It's
That was
Molly
Molly
Shannon from
Shannon.
SNL.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
She had that theme because she specifically wanted to dress as that character.
Correct.
And do that all night long, and she did. It was great.
That's
Oh,
wild.
Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we went as the
a-holes.
the
two
a-holes.
That's funny.
Where we just wore regular clothes and
If I was going to do
we were
a
a-holes.
Acted like ourselves. It was great.
pretty much.
It was great. When you
would've
find
wanted-
that perfect character you can dress up as, because
I
it's
would've
like
wanted to
that's
be-
me.
Yeah, I would have wanted to be Head Wound Harry. Do you remember him?
Head wound
Yes,
Harry.
Massive
That was
Head Wound Harry.
Dana Carvey, and his
Oh, okay.
head was blown apart, and he's oh yeah.
Papa said one close.
Yeah, here
Boink.
we go.
So hi everybody. Crispin Glover, good actor, weird AF. Yes.
He's
True.
a
Yes.
little-
Yes. I just read yesterday that because he was the dad in Back to the Future,
Yes.
that he went back and found him in his young state, right?
Yes.
And then for Back to the Future 2, they couldn't afford him, and so they made another actor up to look like him. And if you watch Back to the Future 2, they hung that other actor upside down in like gravity boots and at weird angles, so you could never tell it wasn't Crispin Glover.
Interesting.
And he sued him and won nearly $1 million. He won
wow.
his salary that he would have gotten from the movie because they made somebody look like him because they wouldn't pay him enough money.
Jeez,
Funny.
that's so
I don't
wild.
know that I ever saw anything but the first one.
I don't know that I
think
did
I
either.
saw the
I just
second
thought
one,
that was
but-
an interesting factoid from Hollywood land. When the first has been enjoyed long enough, they're
Oh yeah,
aiming
someone
for...
asked if it had
Gen
been
Con.
announced when the second range of One Step was coming out.
Yep, Gen Con. Gen Con. We just got an update from our product dev team today, and we think we're good for that. So I'll keep updating you as we get closer. But that
Is it
end of
gonna
July,
be-
beginning of August, with a street date like mid-August, because what we
Okay.
generally do is we release them at the show, and then we usually come in a week or two after the show and hit the street date.
That's what
Is
I
our
was gonna
our
ask.
normal target.
Yeah.
So that's probably what we'll be doing.
Someone asked if you were let into the house yesterday after giving away extra stuff, and I didn't get it in quite in time, but right as you guys were wrapping up, I said because you were saying I might have to sleep on the couch, and I
You said something about how we had to sell the couch to pay for all the product we gave away.
The
Excuse
extra
me,
stuff.
I have to interrupt for a second. My brother Travis says, "Hello, Jason."
Well, hello, Travis.
Yes.
When his third step, Black Friday.
When his third step. It's not going to be called two-step, by the way. That's
No.
not a thing.
That's
Everybody wants
type of country
everybody
dance.
wants the next set to be called two-step.
no.
That's not going to happen. Oh, that would be funny. Not going to lie.
Troll painting minis would like to know how would the one-step paints behave when mixed with Noosh? Would they work better than using the regular Pro Acryl paints?
Interesting concept. I have to admit that I haven't tested them a whole lot or at all with one step, with Noosh, but there's no reason why it wouldn't work. The thing is you're kind of using one medium to do what the other medium is already doing. Noosh with a normal paint is going to give you everything you need. If you've used Noosh with the transparents, I think you're probably close to what you'd get out of that. Right? You don't want, when you mix Noosh in, you're going to stop having it act like one step. It's not going to flow like a wash anymore because the Noosh is going to hold it together differently, if that makes sense. So that's the only thing, is that I say if you have a color in the one step that you really want to use with Noosh, go for it. But don't expect it to have any different qualities than when you use it with normal paints at that point. Because Noosh is going to start taking over as what makes the paint behave the way it does. And you'll get the longer dry time, you'll reduce the opacity, but it'll hold the paint in place. It won't run like a wash like one step is intended to, and fill in like the dark spots. You'll still have to move it around like you would with normal Noosh anyway.
Emerson Secondary said, wait, didn't Chris already try this last week on his Marvel robots? I think he was mixing regular...
He may have. I wasn't here for
special
that, so
sauce.
he may
I
have.
know.
There's no reason why it won't
didn't
work. It,
see
like I
that
said,
whole
it'll
one.
work fine for color and Noosh. It just won't do anything different than the normal colors in Noosh, right? I hope I'm
Abracadallas.
making that.
Hi.
Dallas.
Yeah,
What's going on, my man?
Dark blue, black. One Step is one of the best paints ever. Using mine now, it's so good, said Zilfer.
Well, this is dark.
Thank you.
This is all dark blue black over the pre-highlight, believe it or not, of just dark purple and taupe, with then a white dry brush. And so you see how it moved it into kind of a greenish, dark green black almost, because the yellow and the taupe mixed with the bluishness of the dark blue black gave us a totally different tone, which is fantastic, because the regular dark blue black is not this color. And so now I'm taking another layer of dark blue black and putting it over these chainmail bits, like on his, what is this called? Coif? His little tabard bit here, and on the side bits. And now I'll be bringing in more of the blue black so that I can offset these metal links versus the normal armor, right? So it just gives me a little bit of contrast when I'm doing this as a, a very monochromatic tone-on-tone kind of a painting scheme here. So it gives it that grim look.
I think you should sell tickets to these 2 seats. This is amazing.
So we've had some people, viewers will come in town. And we used to, when we had the factory here, you could take a tour of the factory and see the studio and all that. Now that you don't really come here, you go to the other building. But we've had, most recently, we had Super Duper John, one of our viewers, that we met in person at a big convention here earlier in the year. And then he came to town and got to sit there through the show. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun just to have guests. It used to be that, when the factory was here, the production team would come through. We could have employees come through and sit in and do fun stuff. Now it gets a little lonely because it's just, me and the producer, right? So yeah, we would love to be able to do that. Sell tickets.
Oh, yeah.
You could be on here. It's like we could give out golden tickets, and we just let people can come in and be on stream.
Yep. I was going to do that for my when I did my last photography show, and I did the promotion for the magazine. I was going to put golden tickets in random magazines, and if they got the ticket, they'd get like a percentage off of a large photo.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I never did it.
I never did. Yeah, it's like those plans.
Just pay the price.
Those plans fall apart. First contact with the enemy and something like that.
Dallas said Lonely Craze. Dallas has been in too, right?
Dallas has been in here on the stream. He's done the stream while I sat over there, and then we have him join in from his boat. He lives on a boat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, what?
Dallas
Oh,
lives.
that's right. I forgot.
Dallas is very she. He lives on a yacht.
I like that style.
He lives on a yacht in the middle of a lake.
I asked ChatGPT to give me some fun questions about miniature model painting.
Oh, did you? Okay, this will be great, by the way.
Should we do some?
We should let ChatGPT ask some fun questions about miniature model painting.
Okay, here we go.
Dallas said it's not a yacht.
There it is. How about, what miniature are you most proud of painting?
Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite questions that I never know how to answer.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and it's funny that ChatGPT is coming up with, okay, so Zach has found his calling. He's going to have ChatGPT ask us a bunch of questions during the stream. So this is going to be fun, chat.
She's your producer. I'm going to be your Robin.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. So Zach is the disembodied voice off stream who's going to be guiding and the color commentary.
Not
I'll pop in a frame every once in a while.
So okay, read it again.
So it was, what miniature are you most proud of painting?
Most proud of painting. I don't have, I paint so many, and I don't have one. I'm always very proud when I finish one, as funny as that sounds, because I'm the king of not finishing them.
Yeah.
Because just the nature of streaming, and we've been doing this for this is year 10 of doing the stream, and the stream is so education-based and showing how to do particular things that there'll be a lot of times where I paint a model to a specific point, and then don't finish it because I showed what the tutorial was about. It wasn't ever about the model. It was about, oh, this will work to show you this. And so when I finish models and they're done completely, I'm like, oh, this is why I do this. So there's a lot of that that's tied in. But I don't know that I have a single model that I really care as much about.
Well, cool.
There's ones that I would be very proud if I would finish them.
Right.
As I'm looking at Percival. Right.
Go.
We need to chat. We need to figure out how we can hold me accountable to finish Percival.
What needs to be done still?
He needs to be in the diorama, and I need to finish these guys because I haven't painted the cut off head stump and some of the details.
Blood dripping.
So, we got to have blood and
okay.
violence. And the idea is to do a corner in a pub. So it would be a flat corner with like a fire, like a fire, a fire and hearth in one, and like a broken table on the ground because he's in like the bar, because he's the bar fighter. He's the little owl that could. So I need to finish that.
Schedule it. Put it on the calendar.
I need to be accountable for that. I need to find a way to be accountable for that.
Just
here's another
hold him
good
accountable.
one.
Make him do it. Just bug him every day until he says, "Fine, I'll do it."
Oh, great.
What is the hardest color for you to paint well?
Jason's too good of a painter for that question.
Well, let's think. What's the hardest color for me to paint well? I don't know. I think. Oh wow.
You can make anything work. That's
kind of my thing,
an
right?
impossible question.
That's kind of my thing, but I'm trying to think like what are my arch nemesis colors? Do I have one? Do I have one where I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Chat will say pink plaid. Plaid's
true,
not a color, but pink, they'll say pink.
They just said it. Punisher just said it.
See, I know you people way too well.
Fluorescent umber.
Fluorescent umber, yes, very difficult. I don't know. I don't have like an arch nemesis. I don't have a color that worries me when people throw it out there to paint.
No.
I probably have colors that I navigate to less. As I'm looking over here, there's not, obviously in the world that I paint in, there isn't a lot of pink. There isn't any of that kind of end of magenta, because it just isn't something that fits in with war dollies. When you're painting battle Barbies and stuff, it's not a very desaturated war color. Yeah. Not that you couldn't, and we talk about it all the time. Yeah. But I don't know, there's not a color that I run up against that I have a problem with.
The king.
That's kind of my shtick, is that I'm always telling people how easy it is to defeat that beast of color that you can just kind of, here, let me show you, boom, and we just do it.
Yeah.
So,
dude, every time your tattoo comes in on this angle, I always think it's me for a second.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like, wait. Is that camera on me?
By the way, little Billy, Christopher is on vacation.
What's up, nerd?
He knows this.
He got time off.
Little Billy knows this. He knows this. All right. So now we got to do some highlighting.
Hot pink plaid is the way to go. Can't go wrong.
Let's dive in.
Is there, Beard Science wants to know if there's a color that you tend to not like or not use. Not necessarily that it's hard to paint, but that you're just not a big fan.
Ooh. That's tough.
What a nice salmon.
So again, boy, you guys are picking tough questions because obviously we paint with the paint that I make, and I only make the colors I use. So no, out of what's here, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't made a Procurel color I don't use because I only make the colors we use. So there aren't any colors in the Procurel line. Are there colors in the world that I don't find myself navigating to? Again, and I hate that it is always repetitive like this, but that pink, that kind of powder pink world doesn't exist for me in my brain of choice of color, except as a mix. I mix magenta with a lot of things and stuff like that, but it's not something I go towards for like, hey, let's paint this Space Marine pink. It doesn't ever happen. It's not that I don't like it. It's not that it just doesn't fit, because I come from a world of painting World War II scale models and all of that, and it just isn't a color you'd ever paint unless you're painting like a little girl's dress. I mean, we painted the pink bear, right?
Yep.
Because Shelby challenged me and says, "You hate pink, you can't do it." And we were like, okay, just hold on, right? So we gave him a gold tooth, but so it's just not a color that I gravitate to immediately. But again, I don't really think I don't have any dislike for any colors. So if we were to say, oh, let's try to do this, I'd probably move more towards greens and browns. Somebody asked yesterday what the colors that I really like using the most are, and I think greens and browns and yellows are kind of where I'm the most comfortable, because again, those are those ruddy military colors. So
Monument Philip is here.
Monument Philip.
Hearts in chat for Monument Philip. It is his last day at Monument Hobbies.
Dun dun dun.
Had a very nice.
We had lunch.
Some guests from the remote team came in to say goodbye to Philip and to wish him well.
Yep.
Very missed at Monument.
Louise's colors are a little outside what I usually use. No, we use them all the time. I use the dark hot pink, the ultramarine, the bismuth yellow. Every single color in Louise's set I use all the time. The ultramarine blue is a great mixer blue. You won't see me using it as much unless I'm painting denim as just a standard color. But remember, for me, the range of colors I have isn't that I'm trying to paint a model in every color that we make. It's that every color we make gets mixed into every model that I do almost, So.
Phil will always be New Guy Phil.
He's always New Guy Phil.
Always and forever.
He hasn't been new for a long time.
For eternity.
Bright green blue is what we're going to use from Dallas's line. This is basically the Dallas Kemp signature series. And we're going to use this to highlight what we got here because, like I said, the dark blue black over the taupe gave us kind of a dark greenish feel. I want to make sure everybody understands what the dark blue black would look like normally is this. If you put it over white and black, it looks like this, right? As opposed to this. Same exact color. Just shows the power of one step because depending on your undertones, if you're using white and black, you get the color that it is, dark blue black. And if you put it over taupe and purple, then it starts to green out over that taupe, which I really, really like.
And I do believe that this is not the last time that Philip is ever going to be around. I believe you'll see him still.
Oh, he's not getting away that easy. He's not getting away that easy.
And
he still has a lot of my models.
Oh, well... Maybe he won't come back then.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait, I just remembered. Phil, you can't leave.
Someone asked about Shelby as well. Shelby is doing great. We still see her occasionally. She was at Adepticon with us, part of the Adepticon crew. Yeah, she's enjoying some free time.
Yeah, Shelby still enjoys coming and helping out at shows. It's one of her favorite things. So you'll see Shelby around.
She's been working at a little cafe that I still need to go and check out. Philip said he'll have time to finish your models now.
Wait a minute. This has been the ploy all
Mo
along.
said, yeah, you're not getting those models back, bro.
This is the ploy. This has been the ploy all along. Now this is starting to make sense.
Oh, Philip's back to work. Thanks for stopping in. Check in again before 4. We love you, Philip.
We're going to come over there after the show. I'm going to take Zach over to see the factory.
Oh, are you? Okay, I was going to ask if you guys had done that. After.
We'll see everybody over there. One last time.
How long will one of these brushes last?
It depends. That's a great question. It is largely dependent on how you use it. There are certain techniques that take a lot or put a lot of abuse on the brush. What I'm doing right now is not one of them. I'm using a very light brush stroke, so I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the brush. I'm barely touching the model, so the brush isn't flexing very much. So as long as I were to clean this brush, it would last me years if I just use it for this kind of small detail stuff. If you're doing base coating and really slapping paint around, or if you just have a heavier hand when you apply paint, then I would say my expectation for brushes in the way that I do our testing, because we make these, and my expectation for a brush with a monument name on it is I should be able to paint with it for about 3 months on stream until and feel good about it all the way up until the end, right? Because we're painting 10 hours a week. For 3 months, I feel like if the brush holds up, does its job during that course, because I don't clean them, I treat them very poorly most of the time, that I feel like I'm getting really good life out of it.
Conquer Havocs, we have all the chat in one window, so yes, if you've got a question from YouTube, go ahead and type it in. It should be visible to us here. And Chandler Johnson, you're going to see some back in stock today, tomorrow?
What's that?
Brushes. Philip was taking inventory on some brushes when I was over there today. So
you need to do an ASMR remix. Put this video to some nice soothing sounds.
We joke about that all the time, that we could, because I'll shake the bottle, when I'm shaking the paint. Yep. I'll shake it up close to the microphone.
Yes,
oh yeah, do some cool tapping. Sound.
Do some whispering. Hey, Chad. Right now I'm going to do a little bit of highlight. real breathy.
Yeah,
Best
Get a whole new crowd.
best
right.
best UFO to a total beginner. Do you recommend starting with regular acrylic or buying one step?
So there's going to be a need for both. Like right now, I've done the bulk of the work on this with one step, but now with the highlight, I'm going to need to have an opaque color because one step won't do the edge highlight and brighten up the edge, right? So there's going to be a need for both, but you could just buy one step and then get a few of the tints and shades, a couple of the bright colors, a couple of the dark colors. You're going to want like white and coal black, and you can buy a handful of the regular colors like the base set and expansion set 1. You don't have to buy like every color, and you get started there. One step right now only has 12 colors in the set, so the medium mixed with our opaque colors gives you a lot of flexibility too. So we call the medium special sauce. If you're around here and you hear us talking about special sauce, the one step special sauce medium does a lot of heavy lifting with the opaque line. So ultimately you're going to need both, because there are just times where you're going to want to paint with an opaque paint and times where the one step really makes sense.
Conquer Havocs, what one steps would you recommend for skin tones? I'd love to use them for that. Also, when our Sable's being restocked, some of them, that's what I was saying, some of them should be restocked today, or probably today, because today is their last day.
Yeah.
I've been having a really hard time this week remembering that the team does not work on Fridays.
On Friday. We do, they don't.
And One Tomato, I don't know what you're talking about.
But one step for flesh, I have really been enjoying. I mean, our shadow flesh is the color, right? So it's for just about any skin tone, starting there. And then if you want to darken it up, add warm brown to it. If you want to just change it a little bit, I've been really liking graphite gray in it. That is what we did here. So this guy's skin tone is the shadow flesh. It's again over the dark purple in the taupe undercoat with the zenithal, but this is shadow flesh mixed with graphite gray. And so it just gives it a little bit of a desaturated look. It's not quite as pinkish as shadow flesh would normally be. And I went back with the magenta wash on like the elbows and in the muscle crevices and things like that to give it life again. But I really, really have enjoyed that. On this guy, we mixed it with a little bit of green, a little bit of graphite green on his skin. This is the model from the tutorials that we did. And so again, the shadow flesh mixed with some of those other colors. I'm really liking graphite green, warm brown, and graphite gray. Gives you a broad range that it will do wonderful work. And you can do things like that. We have a darker black-brown coming out in the second set of one-step colors. So you'll be able to take that and mix it with the shadow flesh. But I think shadow flesh is your jump-off point. And then mixing other colors with that. Now, if you just wanted to start a skin tone with graphite gray and use the shadow flesh over the top to do some sort of like alien skin would be great. And then, of course, for orcs and things like that, you use the dark green and the warm yellow and mix them.
I may have a dumb question.
No question is dumb.
No, that's...
These figures that you are painting, on the boxes, do they come suggested painted, or is it just open-minded, go how you go?
Most of the models in our world come with a suggestion, like a cover art.
Yeah.
Right? And the companies will pay very well-known painters to do the cover art of the model. Or the game companies will have in-house painters who paint, the models. So when you buy it, it shows what their vision of it would be. And then you can have that as a guideline or do your own thing.
Got it.
Wad, yes, we do have a guest in the studio today, but Christopher's not here to set up the whole operation over there. But it is Jason's old friend Zach.
Here we go.
He's gonna pop up behind him.
It's Zach. He's super tall.
Give him what Lily he likes.
No.
Stan, the dimensions on the Go Bag Mini are 11 by 9 by 4, so 11 height, 9 width, 4 depth. But Stan is wondering if a demon prince with wings would fit in the Go Bag Mini, along with some smaller infantry units.
Oh, I would assume so. I don't know how I'm trying to envision how the wing direction goes on them, how deep it makes the model. You can get models that are deeper than the pluck foam, deeper than that 3.5-inch pluck foam in there, because the top also has an inch of foam on it that compresses. So I've gotten some pretty big models in there. So I don't know. You'd have to give me a measurement on it. I don't have one of those models to be able to give you a really good, concise answer there.
Alex Glenn, my special sauce medium is coming tomorrow. Was wondering how you decide what value of regular paint to use. How does something like the dark, normal, light, yellow, green... Oh, see, this chat is a bummer.
What?
It just, every time a new message comes up, it bumps it up.
Always.
Which is why I always look at the other one. Sorry, how does something like dark, normal, and light yellow, green map to one step?
Okay, so like with any filtering, right? We talk about filters, glazes, washes are all filters. If you have experience with those, you'll know that I always say start darker than the color you want to have turn out. So in the case of using the yellow greens, dark yellow green is going to give you a lot of mileage. Yellow green is going to give you a lot of mileage. Bright yellow green, probably not as useful with the one step, except for things like OSL. It's something you would apply with a brush for your highlights. But the other two are going to get brighter because you're putting them over a bright base. And because the paint is see-through and allowing that bright base to show through, they're going to become brighter. So you're going to find a lot of that brighter nuance out of those other colors. If you put dark yellow green with special sauce and put it over a model that's primed, you know, like one of these guys is just primed white, right? And so you put it over that, it's going to be pretty blasted bright. Let me see if I can't find a model around here that has... No, I don't have one that has that color on there. But it's going to brighten the color up pretty well. And so you'll find that you'll get dark yellow green, put it over a white or a zenithal base. It's going to almost become yellow green as well. And so then it doesn't mean that you have to use yellow green over the top of it. You can just as a highlight. To give you an example, this is the dark blue black over taupe, and it turns it a little bit greenish, but it gives me that really deep, you know, dark armor color. And I'm going straight to highlights because all of these highlights on the thigh are just created by the bright undercoat, and I don't need a whole lot. So in my train of thought, I use the darkest version of the color I want the model to be, put that on there as a one step, whether with the special sauce or out of the one step colors themselves, and then see how I like the midtones. If I need a little bit of midtone on it, then I, like say if this was dark yellow green, then I get a little bit of yellow green, and I might do the cylinder of the leg with a little bit of highlight if I wanted to brighten it up, but I wouldn't need a lot. And then just edge highlight it, you're done. That's the whole point. So I think based on the way you worded your question with the value statement, I think go for the darker version of the color you want on there. I don't know if it's always going to be dark yellow green. Yellow green might be giving you the outcome you want. But the bright yellow green is probably not going to be something you're going to need in that equation until you're just doing edge highlights or bright reflections or something like that. Does that help? Does that make sense?
That makes a ton of sense. Thank you. I'm excited to experiment.
Awesome. Yeah, because whenever we glaze, I always say pick a color darker than you want because it's going to brighten as you put it over the base coats. Whatever colors are underneath it are going to play a part in brightening it up. And so if you go, like if I want a red glaze, I might start with burnt red instead of pyrrole red, because burnt red will turn brighter as it goes over the base coat. And pyrrole red might be too bright as it goes over the base coat because it's going to brighten up too.
Jan, the EU store is shipping out orders. I mean, they started this week. I don't know where they are in their queue, but they are shipping out the one-step orders. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shipping them this week.
Yeah, orders should start getting shipping notifications.
Yeah,
well, today's over. Today is over over there.
For them,
but tomorrow and then starting in on Monday.
Yeah, if you just ordered it, like you ordered it today, give them next week. It'll ship out. But you should get a notification. You should get an email that says it's been shipped with information about all that. Panic Bomb is hooked on special sauce.
It's so good.
Thor's Paws, the big comfy chair is not in here. I don't know where they're in
the big comfy
other room still.
comfy chairs are in the old
The break room.
employee break room.
lounge. Yeah. But as of right now, they're not making a comeback. But you never know. Belial wants to know, when you have painted an army, when choosing the color schemes, do you go with the colors that are already chosen, or do you come up with your own? And then very similar question right after that from Chandler Johnson. Any suggestions on how to go about choosing colors for a model?
Great questions. I am typically creating my own color schemes for models. But there are times where I go with the box art, especially if I'm painting a chapter of Space Marines that's well known, Blood Angels. I'll make up my own version of the red and things like that, but I'll go with the general color scheme that's there if it's canon in a lore perspective. I'm not trying to make completely new things all the time just for the heck of it, but I do like to create my own color schemes largely.
Game delay, no, sorry. You get me for 2 days this week. It is only, you'll see the title of the stream is, oops, it's not Friday. Because we kind of thought it was Friday too.
All day I thought it was
I'm very confused about the days this week.
Yeah,
I'm having a really hard time. I don't know why.
Okay, so to give you an idea, our factory and the rest of our employees only work 4-day work weeks.
Yes.
Right? We changed to a 4-day work week here this year, so they work 7 to 6, 4 days a week. And Thursday is their Friday. I woke up this morning, went and sat down in front of my computer, and legit thought it was Friday, and was worried when I saw so many messages from our team. Oh. I was like, I almost asked Miguel, who is our ad buyer, why he was working on Friday.
Sorry for those.
I'm glad I didn't, because then it would have made me look like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Who's this senile old man that I work for?
But yeah, so that was pretty funny. But what was the rest of that?
How do you choose colors?
How do we choose colors? Yeah. When I'm putting together an army, for me, it's a lot of the conceptual vision of that army. I don't know if it answers the question well. I'm a very visual person. I have been painting for a long time. I'm an artist. I draw, I paint, I create with metal and weld and wood and you name it. So I'm always having visions in my head of things I'd like to make. And so as that kind of person, when I look at a model, I'm like, oh, that would be rad in orange. Or I might say, I could do this thing, and it just has a picture in my head. It doesn't mean I plan it all out. It just means that when I pick it up, like yesterday when we picked this model up, I said, I want the armor to be black. And so we used the blue-black one step, but we didn't know what we were going to get over the taupe and purple because I hadn't really done it this way where I thinned the blue-black one step down so far and really let the taupe show through. So we got this dark sea bin kind of color on it. And I really love it. So that's kind of the way I approach it, as I'll go that in a general sense, I want this to be brown-ish or yellow or black or whatever. And then I start playing with color. I'm a firm believer that the model will guide me to where it wants to be. As I see the colors develop, I'll make choices on other colors. Like as soon as I saw this armor turn out this way, I decided immediately the rest of the model was going to be very drab and monochromatic because I feel like this gives me that gritty, like Chaos Warrior black armor, and it really works well. And then we just did the spot of non-metallic gold for the key symbol that he has on his belt and his shield. But I'm gonna leave the key, metal on the pauldrons. So, that's how my brain works. It's why it takes me longer to paint, because I probably don't start with a plan and I just don't know what step 2, 3, and 4 are gonna look like until I get there. But that's the way I'm comfortable. What a lot of people will do is they'll kind of plan it out. They'll say, okay, I'm gonna do this guy and I want the armor to be, steel, and then I want the chainmail to be black chain, and then I'm gonna do the head of the mace in gold or whatever it is. And so you can plan it out and have a better way to move from spot to spot on the model. But as far as like choosing colors, it's a very subjective and personal thing. You're going to have colors you love. So there's a spectrum where you have colors that are familiar to you, that you love using, that are just colors that speak to you. And the thing that I say to that realm is be careful to not get too one-dimensional, because you can only pick those colors and your models can look very samey. And so you're going to have to be a person that pushes yourself outside of your comfort zone more. And then there are people that have no idea what colors they want to use, and that can be its own hurdle. And then I say, get a color wheel, start looking at color wheels, and say, this one is from JillRitter.com. And I really love this one because it has more desaturated colors on it. Okay. So what do they call this one? I don't know if it has a name. Color harmony wheel is what they call it. I don't know why they use the word harmony, but it gives you some steps on how to choose stuff. But really, it is pick your main color that you want to, or color range that you want to go from. So if you say I want it to be kind of greenish, well then kind of center your greens on here, and it'll give you the kind of colors that would look good for all the rest of the stuff you want to paint along with one of these colors that's in this open area. Right? So you want to paint blue. So just kind of center this on blue, and it gives you the range of colors that you could shade your blue with and tint your blue with, and then what the other stuff might look good at. Now, color wheels are always a little funky because it's going to give you colors in their primary sense, and for what we paint in military models and war dollies and stuff, these colors don't always register, because you're not going to just immediately paint blue ultramarines and then make everything magenta, that you paint with them. It's going to look clown suit, for what? It's not going to look very 40K, right? But you can take this and desaturate it, turn a grayish version of this, or start looking at your reds and pick colors that go well with it, and look at your yellows and pick good colors that go with it, because you have this whole range. So a wheel like this can kind of get you started. And I like this one, like I said, because it gives you desaturated versions of the colors, as opposed to the main color wheels that are all like your third grade paint class, where it's like very, very bright, vivid colors. And you're like, some of these might scare you away because, well, no, my Space Marines don't want to look like that. Whereas something like this, if I pick the same greens, right, and I start looking at the green side of the wheel, inside of this range, I can find some colors that are really cool, for like Dark Angel, Salamanders, Eldar, or whatever. Whereas if I look at this, it might be like, no, I don't really want green because none of that appeals. So that's why I don't visually, because a lot of people are very visual, whether you know it or not, and you're going to look at this, and you're going to be like, nope, and move on to something else, when green might really be the answer if you were to choose something like a yellow green. This doesn't have that on here, right? There's just no similarity. Even on the shade side, it kind of gets there, but again, it's not as variable as this one. So I really like this one, this color harmony wheel. Those are fun.
Back here a little bit. Creek's toddler. Creek. It's not working. Creek's Toddlich said that 410s are great. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Popping close for me.
410s are great. Yeah, our crew has gotten used to it. They've adapted.
We were scared because that's a tough one to change from a 5-day work week to a 4-day work week. For me, I'm like, as an old man, I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to have a 3-day weekend every week. That'd be great.
But new people who we've hired this year they loved it.
Yeah.
Because they knew going in that's what it was going to be. It wasn't a change for them.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice. We will be streaming tomorrow. Yes, absolutely. I will be here. And then, but
not on Monday.
Not Monday, because Monday's a holiday.
I will not be here either. Sorry, guys.
There was a question for you, Zach. From Sarcastic Grandpa wants to know if you paint minis as well.
I do not, but I find it fascinating. It's so intricate in the detail and the steadiness. I don't know if I could do that. I was going to ask, actually, is this a hobby for everyone? Because, like, I don't know if I could keep my hand steady with that little brush.
I believe yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that, because at the end of the day, if you're comparing what you see in the world and asking if you can do that, the answer is not always yes. Because it takes the want to learn and grow and adapt and be that. If you look at somebody that's been painting like me for 48 years, or somebody that maybe they've only been painting for 2 years, but they're just an exceptional painter and they just get a savant.
Yeah.
But if you look at it and you say, wow, that seems soothing, yeah, it's for everybody. We have put brushes and models in front of people that say, I have never done anything artistic in my life, and you give them some paint and they start going and they come back and they go, I love this.
Wow. Okay.
Not because they're good painters, but because when you paint, because of the intricacy, it blots the world out.
Yeah.
your vision has to get so tunneled in here in order to feel like you can hold your hand steady that you forget everything that's going on outside of this little 2-foot area. And for a lot of people, that's very cool.
I completely get lost in it and lose track of time. And I didn't know any of this existed 10 years ago.
I didn't know until 3 years ago when I ran into him. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually try this because I used to love building the model, like the World War II stuff back when I was in like junior high-ish, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm gonna try it if I ever get time home.
That's the thing, right? He's always traveling.
Take it out.
I did 285 days on the road last year.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane, by the way.
Yeah.
That's almost like why have a home?
I have I call it a very expensive storage unit.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people are using it. They use it for therapy, for relaxation. It's very soothing.
Yeah, that's, I think, the big thing and why I believe it is something for everybody. Because like Jen said, when she sat down, good God, it's probably been 10 years ago when you sat on the stream for the first time and painted. Mm-hmm. And let me just show you, how long into your painting journey did you paint this? Year 2?
That was when we were in this building.
That's great gradient.
Sure. Oh man, this is all by hand.
Jeez.
She does all these blends by hand. Jen turned into a fantastic painter and initially was like, well, she loves doing creative stuff, but you would have never thought you could do this on day one.
That was done with those little brushes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really neat.
Yeah. And so Jen, and everybody jokes because Jen has me to sit next to, but Jen really didn't. I mean, I helped. Yeah. But that was something that was inside you with your focus. So you were able to spend the time to mix the colors, and you're over there, and I can hear the gears and see the smoke coming out of her ears when she's mixing. She doesn't want help. She's figuring it out.
Yeah.
And so she's playing with color and doing it. Some people gravitate there. Some people, like the question in chat, was they just want to reproduce what's on the box, and they want to do exactly what they're told. And for them, the paint by numbers and coloring book style thing works great. And there's resources for that. So if you don't even know, you don't ever want to have to think about color, look at the box of the Space Marines. It tells you what colors to use. Use those colors. Put them here. Do that. Do this. Do that. And just play. So it gives you a lot of freedom, but it can fit and adapt to what you need it to be very easily.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. There's no rules to artwork, right? It should be somewhat chaotic, but the hard part there is just making sure that you tune your own brain to not have expectations you can't meet with the time and effort you want to put into it.
Yeah.
Jackson Rangel said, "Hey Jason, I'm painting some Skaven, and the main cloth color I'm trying to go for is like a yellow ochre, but I'm having a hard time picking colors to shade and highlight."
For yellow ochre, I guess depending, because it's rats, I think that something like dark green brown is great underneath yellow ochre because it gives you a kind of a sickly tone, and for rats, of course, that always works. So dark green brown, that kind of range works really well. Remember that I'm a big fan of doing a little bit of color shift for shadows and highlights. So if we have our yellow ochre, right, as what color you're going for, but then you look at something like dark green brown as a shadow for that, they work fantastic together. If you need something darker, dark golden brown works really well for that as well. So you can see both of those work great. If you need even darker, you can even start that with burnt sienna, and it warms it up.
I would call that honey mustard.
And then go that, yeah, right?
Hey, we don't do that here.
That's just I'm hungry now that I see it.
Right, so that works great. And then, of course, we have bright yellow ochre that you can use on the top end for your highlight if you want to stay in the same realm, right? That works great. And then you can just go over into, like, pale yellow if you're doing something, like, reflective, like metal. That right there would be the way that I would do it.
So, Zach, a lot of people who paint miniatures will put their brush in their mouth to point it.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty, filthy bastages.
We don't condone that here.
Dirty, filthy bastages.
Years ago, we started, just a little tagline of "Don't eat the paint."
Don't eat the paint.
And yes, the evil chat. They do things.
Chat is not nice.
Like comparing it to honey mustard or barbecue sauce, and
roadside miniature. Roadside Miniatures, I hope you're doing all right.
Yes, you know what? We hear that a lot, and yeah, can be tough to talk about roadside, but we hear a lot of people who have turned to miniature painting as therapy, as a way to escape the problems of the world.
I mean, understand that for me, it was therapy for the longest time. It helped me through. It helped me through my divorce. It helped me through long days at work. You know, and it wasn't something that everybody around me always understood. Mm-hmm. You know, when I needed to come home and go away and sit in my office and paint little men, it wasn't something everybody around me always understood. They had their own vision of, aren't you going to grow up? You know, what are you doing playing with toys? Blah, blah, blah. And so I had to fight it on both ends. It was something that felt so good to me for a long time, but it also caused some static, right? Well, my parents were always really supportive, but there was always other adults in my life, whether it was friends or relatives or significant others or whatever, that were always like, what? Why is it that this is so important to you? And it's really hard to explain. It's great now, because nerddom has made a big outing in the world.
Yeah, well, I totally understand it now when we talk about it here, because my father, growing up, his escape from my wild ass was building and painting World War II like battle scenes.
Yeah.
And I just grew up with it, so it was just normal. I never questioned it, and come to find out, it was for him to not pay attention to me and just
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
it's very therapeutic.
Believe it or not, where I learned to build models was because my father, my biological father, who left when I was 3, was, you know, weekend warrior, come get me on the weekend, and we would go, and it was his way to do something he enjoyed doing without having to really babysit me, because he'd give me a cheap, you know, back then we would call snap-tight models, like monogram snap-tight models.
Those are my favorite.
So he'd give me like a snap-tight airplane. He loved building models, but he would get to work on his model. And because I was the kind of kid that would go away into this thing and just have fun with it over there, he didn't care if I screwed it up or whatever. He paid $7 for this model for me, and that was his babysitting fee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He paid $7 to have a babysitter for me while he did what he wanted to do. He just happened to like building models. Yeah. And so sort of the same thing. It would keep him from having to be, not from having to be dad, because he was still dad. I was enjoying spending time with my dad doing that thing, but he didn't have to be a father. He didn't have to figure out what to do. He baked it in. Yeah. Thank God he did, because it found me something that I really love.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally understand that version of it too.
Question from Gillenborn the Human. I've noticed recently that I have to load my brush way more frequently than you and most every paint streamer or tutorial that I watch. Can you go over how to effectively or properly load a brush?
100%. Yes, that's a great question, and something that everybody runs across at some point. You know, we talk about this elusive beast called brush control. And when you hear that term, it's like, okay, the words make sense. Control the brush. But what is brush control? Brush control starts with being able to load the brush properly. Right? And so go over to the palette. Zach is skulking.
Someone said, hey, who is Zach? We're glad to have him here.
That's Zach. That's my buddy Zach.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's such a cool comment. I've never done this before. I'm always on the other end.
You're always on the camera and nobody knows you're there. That's why I thought it'd be fun to have you just be able to take part. It'd be kind of fun.
I'm having a great time.
Longtime friend of Jason's.
So, loading the brush is very important. Let me put more of this color out here that I'm using. I'm using the bright green blue. And I'm going to show you loading for different techniques, because one of the problems is that we tend to, as humans, think that there's a right way and a wrong way of things. Painting is a thing I do. There's a right way and a wrong way. Painting is a very diversified technique. There's so many ways to paint. There's as many ways to paint as there are painters to some extent. And so I want you to think in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. And I'm going to break it down to some very 50,000 foot level things. You're going to paint very thin for filtering, glazes, very thin layers, you know, that kind of painting. Then you're going to have that in between that's kind of a a semi-opaque painting that you use a lot in layering. And then you're going to have opaque painting, which is generally what we're doing when we're highlighting, when we need to make sure that we only have to do that edge once. You're going to want that color to be at full vibrancy and get the paint where it goes, and you're steadying it, getting that fine line. And when you get it just right, you don't want to have to do it 3 times. So you want opaque paint, semi-opaque paint for layering, and then translucent paint, very thin, for the really light layering and glazing and filtering, right? Washes, things like that, okay? So let's start with the opaque side of things, right? So for opaque, you're going to have to switch back and forth.
Okay.
So to my thumb.
Okay.
Boom. So for opaque painting, let me show you. I will dip this brush into the water, and this is however much water it will hold. I didn't wipe it on the cup. I didn't wipe it on the paper towel. So this is a Monument Pro Sable number 2, right? So it's still a fairly small brush, but it holds a lot of water. So that's a lot of water, right? If I put that much water into my color, it's going to dilute it and be very thin. So I'm going to wipe this on my paper towel 1, 2, 3 times. Then I'm going to come over here and just load it up with some paint. And this is just however much paint I just put on it. I just dipped it in the paint, right, and got that much. So you can see like it has a big blob of paint on it. Okay? The water that's in it, if I can get the camera to pick it up, it's hard. You can see it's got shine all the way down to the ferrule still. So the bristles are still wet, but it's not so wet that when I touch it to my skin, I get droplets of water on it, right? So if I touch it to my knuckle on my thumb there, you won't even really see that there's water on my thumb, but it is still wet. And then so now I have that blob of paint. I will come over here and just real quick twist my brush through it, and now I've got a damp brush and enough paint on here to do opaque stuff like what you see me doing, right? So this is going to allow me to get in here, keep a fine point, and drop a bright highlight, which is what I'm looking for, a very high contrast highlight on all of these bits of the model. And because of the dampness that I left on the brush, it's going to allow me to continue to pull paint where I need it for quite a while. Right? Now, when you're doing very fine details like this, you might notice that your brush dries up quicker than not because you're only using the tip of the brush, and the paint at the tip of the brush will start to clog the tip. So if you're not moving very quickly, you're taking time to stop and look, is that right? Do I like that? And yeah, and whatever. And then you come back over here, you might find that it dries up quicker when you're doing very fine details. It's not necessarily that the paint on the brush is dried up any quicker. It's that the bristles at the end of the brush start to clog with drying paint, and the rest of the paint and the bristles can't get off the brush because the tip won't allow it anymore. Right? The paint just can't flow past the tip being kind of clogged up. So when you're painting fine details, it's better to just keep going and then look at an entire area all at once at the end, rather than stopping and admiring your work too much, because that could be contributing to the fact that you can't get your brush to paint for as long. Okay, so I will generally look at an entire area like this, the shoulder pad that I'm painting right now, and I might look and just get all the primary detailing that I want to do on that. Maybe a little bit down here, very lightly. And then call that. And then I'm ready. I'm like, I've done what I set out to do. I've got the shoulder plate done, and now I'm ready to look at it and make sure that looks right. Then I'll just go rinse my brush again, wipe it on the paper towel, come back over here the same way I was before, and I just want it to have that dampness right there. You can see how it has that shine all the way from the ferrule to the tip. It's still wet, but when I put it on my thumb, I'm not getting droplets of water. It's not leaving a slug trail, so to speak, of wetness. It's just that the brush is damp enough to hold and draw the paint very well. That'll let my paint flow for quite a long time. So that's for painting opaque colors, right? Now, if I want to do semi-opaque colors, again, you know, however much water the thing will hold. And now I'm just going to wipe the brush on the on the paper towel once. And now it's going to have more water in it to where now, see, it still leaves a little bit of water on my skin every time I hit it. It has that much water in. Not big droplets, but just enough to where it will leave a little bit of slug trail of dampness. That's how much it's got. So to me, and this is really breaking it down probably too simply, I'm probably going to lie to you here. When I want to paint opaque, I dip it in the water and then I wipe it on the paper towel 3 times. It's not always 3 times. Somewhere around 3-4 times, okay? When I want to paint semi-opaque, I wipe it once, maybe twice, okay? Now, this may not work for you because your paper towels are different, right? The brush you're using is different, but you'll get the drift. About half as many wipes to get semi-opaque. And so now I'll come over to the paint, and same way that I did before, right? Load it up. And then over here, I still pull it to where I can make a fine line with it. So I make sure that's just so I make sure there's not a big dollop of paint at the end. It's smoothing out the paint on the brush. Now when I come over here, where might I do this? You know, here on this side of the shield, I don't want these openings to be as opaque. So here I can come in, and now instead of super bright application of color, I'm just going to get kind of a mid brightness. The paint is going to flow really nice. It's really wet, so I got to be careful, because if I press the brush too hard on the surface, it's going to let a lot more paint out, because the paint's very watery because there's more water on the brush. But these highlights won't get as bright at the end when they cure, because the paint is more wet, right? If I were going to take this, and let's get a test model here that I feel good about using it on. I'll show you how this paint, like highlighting like on this guy, like let's just do a highlight on his belly, right? This color now, instead of doing a bunch of just individual lines like the opaque color would have, this gives me the ability now to be able to blend a highlight in here. And because the paint is so wet, it just gives me a really nice focus of color where I need it. And I can do that with this kind of semi-opaque paint, we'll call it. This won't do edge highlights as well for super bright, but it does them just great for that initial setup. Like I said, like if I want to just catch the bottom of his belly button, this is probably the better way to do it, so I build up less contrast. This little flap of skin over the top. This isn't going to be as bright, but this sets me up to where then I can just go to an opaque bright spot right on top of it. So this is a lot of what I do, you know, in the in-between steps. This I can almost glaze with. It's going to be a little bit brighter than a glaze that I want, so it's better for setting up a highlight like that across the belly, right? Something like that. So we've done opaque. Now we've seen semi-opaque. Now when I really want to glaze, again, the brush comes out of the water with this much water that it can hold, and I'm not going to wipe it on the paper towel. I'm going to bring that over here. Go back to the palette. Mm-hmm. This one's important to see what I do on the palette, and it's going to be a little tough, but right here, I'm not going to put this whole brush filled with water in the droplet of paint. I'm going to touch the side of the droplet of paint and let the paint pull over here to the side. This way I'm not diluting my droplet. I'm only putting a big pile of water and pulling paint into that pile of water to mix up over here. So this is now what I'm painting with. My droplet is still opaque the way it came out of the bottle. So that's important. If I put that whole big wet brush into my droplet of paint, I'm going to get probably more opacity than I want, and I'm going to ruin my droplet. It's not going to be opaque enough when I need to go back to it. So now I've got all this. So now, go back to my thumb. Perfect. And now you see I've got paint throughout almost to the ferrule on this brush. It's super loaded. So I want to make sure, because this is that state where we've talked about if I were to go and try to paint with this on the model, right, it has so much material in it that I'm not going to be able to paint effectively because it just drips everywhere. It's uncontrollable. See how that runs? Unless that's what you're looking for, this isn't going to paint very well because it's going to overload the low spots where you probably don't want a bright color into this kind of like milk wash look. Okay? So you need to reduce, when you're painting very thin and with low opacity, reduce the amount of material on your brush dramatically. See, that's where my thumb palette gets the most use. Take most of that off to where the brush almost looks like it has nothing on it anymore. And now when we use this, let's go back over here. Now when we use this, this is a true glaze. This is something where I still get a lot of color out of the brush, but it's going to be a very light filter, right? So you can see it's going to brighten up that gray, but it's not going to really even show me brush strokes at all. It's just going to be like a, not quite like an airbrush, but it's going to give you the ability to do something that is a lot more blended, right? This is the way a lot of people get their color blends working on their models. So it allows you to brighten up an area where, unlike over here, where you've got this kind of tornado shape that I painted with the semi-opaque, where you can see where I start stop, over here, much harder to see any start stop. It just brightens up the area. Right? So over here, I could do that into that previous shape that I painted and help blend it out, and you won't be able to see the start-stop of my brush stroke. It just kind of blends into the gray there. right? So that's the difference between super translucent or glaze style painting and how to load your brush, right? Where you're more wet as you go to the paint so that you can dilute the paint and make it see-through, and then you're taking more off of your brush so that when you go over here, you don't get those big droplets and that milky flow on your model that causes cloudiness and chalkiness and all the problems people have when they glaze. So you're the big step there is dilute the paint properly and take most of it off. Seems wasteful, but it's well worth it because the effect you get on the model is perfect every time. You can just highlight and blend and do what you want. Add as many layers as you need to, and you're fine. Then the semi-opaque, which is where it was like just 1 or 2 wipes on the paper towel to reduce the water, but it still gave you tiny droplets of water on your skin, as opposed to, like I said, when I'm glazing, it's this much water on the brush, and if I touch that to my skin, it's big puddle of water. It just is giving a tremendous amount of water out. Versus if I'm going to do semi-opaque, it's just barely any water that it puts out on my skin, just enough to make it look, wet.
So you're basically thinning the paint enough to layer just with the water still in the brush?
100%. I don't use any extra water except what's on the brush.
We have a question for Zach. Rattlecan_Trece wants to know how we met and how you have changed.
I didn't know you were such a worldly man. You speak multiple languages.
See, yeah,
He travels 200 and some days a year.
Dude, I know I met you through Paul Beauregard. I don't know where and how. Was I working for your company or?
I think we went out. I think it was during Paul's time where he was into the EDM or the trance.
The Tunnel Records.
Yep.
Yes, the
Tunnel Records.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we were going out. Because I think your brother started working with him, and then I met you because you just came out with all of us and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 1999, and yeah, we just hung out. That's how we met.
He had tattoos, so I knew he was cool.
Yeah, how have you changed?
We were literally like the only tattooed kids in our group.
Oh yeah, like I'm fully chest, arms, back, mouth, under my toes. I just got the little pig. I got the little piggies on the bottom of my toes.
The 3 little pig, or this little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home.
Yep. When one toe is looking at the other toe, and the eyes are crossed out, and the other one's looking at him, going, "Oh shit, I'm next." Yeah. I don't know if you've really changed. You've always just been a fun dude that your career has been your hobbies.
We were talking about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
I was telling him that it's like I'll see him post on Facebook and I'll get jealous. I'm like, oh man, he gets to do what he loves and travel and take pictures. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, it's so great. That's what we do. We don't travel and take the pictures, but we get to paint models, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then I think I saw you 3 years ago.
Yeah, you came out here doing something. You were doing it was like a boring insurance. I think it might have been that insurance company you were talking about.
Yeah.
Right? It was like you were doing like an insurance convention thing.
Yeah. And then before that, 2013.
Oh wow.
No.
Man, was it?
I don't know.
That's going to sound really horrible. Might be right.
I see you more than I see Paul, who lives 45 minutes away from me.
Dave DeLay said Paul should just go by Beauregard because that's a majestic name.
Yeah.
Beauregard.
Beauregard. Whenever we mess up, we call it Beauregard. No.
Louis Aldu or Louis Aldous. If you're still here, welcome. But Lewis said, I'm new to the live streams and loving them. How would you go about painting oil spill on vehicle models and bases?
Ooh.
I feel like we've got streams or videos about that, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it, right? Because if you're doing oil sand, we have a really great paint called petroleum brown that is built specifically for that. It has a glossier finish to it for that wet look. It's transparent. And it is a really crazy greenish yellow brown that works great for like dried oil and gross on there, for doing like engine decks on tanks, stuff like that. And you can just water it down with your brush and kind of splotch it on and kind of dap it, and it'll look exactly the way you want to. When you mix that with our Noosh product, then you can do filters of all sorts of stuff, oil streak and grime and dirt buildup in between like rivets and armor panels. So I think that's the biggest thing. Petroleum brown would be my go-to for that, right? I'll show you real quick what its finish or what its opacity is like, because it will tell you right on the bottle it's a gloss. It's part of our signature series with Ben Comets and Matt Seshwish.
Oh, Panic Bomb said I used petroleum brown with special sauce last night. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a great color for doing exactly that. I find myself using it, the bulk of the time that I use it is on vehicles. So this is just with a wet brush, kind of like that semi-opaque usage that I was just showing you on loading your brush. And this is what it looks like, right?
Well, this is good because Robow said I missed the semi-opaque instructions. Half amount of the wipes you do for opaque.
Yeah, for opaque, let's say for opaque I do 3, for semi-opaque I do 1, and for translucent I do none. I just take all the water on the brush and add paint to it. There are times where I'll dab a little bit of the water on a bigger brush, because remember, the size of brush makes a big difference here. If you're using a number 0 brush, it's not going to hold much water. It's probably not going to glaze very much, so you might have to do 2 brush loads of water into your paint to get it to get as low dilution as you need to glaze with it. And you might glaze with a 0 brush. It's for small details. If you're using a number 6, it holds a boatload of water, and so it might be too much. You might hit the paper towel once. And then if you're doing semi-opaque, you might hit the paper towel twice. And if you're doing opaque, you might hit the paper towel 4 or 5 times, because the brush just holds so much more water. So you'll learn as you move along the sizes of brushes that this will all scale. It just means that opaque, you want to get rid of 80% of the water. Semi-opaque, you want to get rid of 50% of the water, and for translucent and glazing, you probably only want to get rid of like 25% of the water. I want to show this on some. Okay, here. Right. So again, we go to this, and you can imagine like if this were like an engine deck or something, right? I can just kind of blot it on, and it gives me that really cool, nasty color. And then I like to just take my finger and blotch it like that.
Oh, yeah.
Pop in super close.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll get rid of like the brush stroke lines and things like that if you just kind of hit it with your finger, and that can give you a really nasty stain.
But would you leave some of those little blobby things there?
You could very well. Yeah, like that had like a little extra blob of paint there, and when that dries, it'll give it more texture. It's like the one time where you can stand to have your paint be applied badly, because you're trying to reproduce that messiness that exists out in the world. Yeah. And you can thin it down a lot, and you can do, like panel lines with it. You could drag that along and do...
Oh, we can't see.
Oh, sorry. But you can do like, panel lines with it. Just get a sharp brush. It flows super well, so you can take it and do, outline on your Space Marines or your tanks or whatever you want to do. It works great. You can add transparent black to it if you want it to be a darker, blacker oil look. But it's the place I would always start with that.
Cool. And then, yes, Bessivo, I don't know how to say that one. No wet palette with your paints. Chat did a great job of answering that. Jason doesn't use a wet palette, but they definitely will work fine.
They work fine.
Just less wet than maybe you might be used to.
The way that I like to say it is that our paints don't require you to thin them to be able to use like a lot of our competitors' paints, because they use a very thick medium in their paints to hold all the pigment. The magic of Procro is that we have more pigment in a lighter paint, and you don't have to thin it to use it. You just want to thin it to lower its opacity. So I'm basically using the paint on a piece of glass, because when most of what I paint with is going to be just like I showed you. Water on the brush to get the opacity that I want. That's the only reason I need to thin it. When I'm painting highlights and opaque details like I'm doing right now, I don't need any kind of extra thinning or water. And so you just have to be careful with your wet palette to not let it over wet the paint, because you're constantly diluting with a wet palette. And in doing so, can do things like separate the paint when we don't require that much water.
Betty 138 proof said, so wet palette is a fraud, them's fighting words.
I mean, I've been proving it for years. My main argument that nobody seems to listen to me is I was like, if wet palettes worked as good as we in the hobby world think they do, they would be ubiquitous in the art world. Because guess what world was painting with acrylics for centuries before we even got here? The art world. And they don't exist in the art world because they aren't necessary. especially for liquid acrylics. That's the part I never understood.
Yeah.
They're great with paste acrylics to keep your paste acrylics hydrated so they don't dry off as quick if you're painting canvases. That's why Masterson's makes theirs, is for watercolor and paste acrylics. Really for watercolor more than anything.
They're not meant to be able to put a huge blob of paint out and let it be usable for days.
No.
It's going to dilute the paint and
no.
it's not going to be the same as...
That's a really good wish for your Christmas list, but that's not how paint works. So no, they work great. They work great for when you're doing mixed colors. I always say, I'm stupid for using the glass palette when I'm mixing colors a lot, right? So like if I'm painting a model where let's say this armor color wasn't done with one step. Let's say it was done with a mix of coal black and dark sea Ben, and I was constantly mixing coal black and dark sea Ben. A wet palette would be brilliant for that because the area where I mix the two colors would stay lively longer, as opposed to on the wet palette, because you're thinning them out so much when you mix them that they dry up almost immediately. So I'm constantly spending that time mixing, which is a waste. I just don't have space here under the camera to do both. I do have a wet palette someplace.
Commando Kim wants to know what you're using to edge highlight right now.
This is bright green blue from the Amp series colors. And it is being fan-freaking-tastic over the top of how we got this one-step to look on here. This is the one-step color that I'm painting over, is the dark blue black over the taupe zenithal. And holy, is this working great.
Dallas uses the wet palette, or likes the wet palette for cleanup. You just throw the paper away when you're done.
It does make that super simple. Yeah, it does make super simple. You have to go and, well, I don't. I have a guy for that. Chris cleans my palette.
When he feels like it.
I mean, he did rate himself as a 79, a high C plus producer. So Zach, I asked our producer Chris.
He's not in the room right now.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Nope. Chandler Johnson wants to know: do you have a paint that has a glossy finish to give a dark brown / black ichor look?
Yeah,
the petroleum brown.
Well, like I just said, the petroleum gives you kind of a yellowish brown, and you can add black transparent to it to do that.
In chat said that. Game Delay said that. That Game Delay.
Yeah, put like
tips.
black transparent or something in it, and you're done.
Phyllis said, "Does he clean your brushes too?"
Oh, wow, Phil, wow.
When he does.
Wow, when you know the answer and you're just trying to get a rise out of me, that tells a lot there, buddy. No, he's only a C plus producer.
Fetty, we're in Arizona. It's very, very dry here.
Yeah, super dry.
You could just put less paint out if you're finding that your paint dries out without your wet palette. Just use less at a time.
Less paint more often is what I'm always saying. That's the way I run mine. But I mean, you know, during the stream, my paint stays good. I don't waste a lot, unless I get to talking a lot, right? There'll be times where I stop painting and start talking, and I'll go back over and go, well, that didn't work out so well.
And don't spread it too thin on your palette, because that'll make it dry out faster.
That's the huge part of a dry palette, is it, you'll notice, pop over to the palette. You'll notice with my palette, all of my paint has this very directional look to it. You'll see the droplet, like here's a good spot where I've got the droplet of paint, and then this is where I wipe the top of our bottle, right? And so usually each color has two little drops, or I've dropped it out and put the droplet. And so like right now is a good spot. I'm working with this droplet right here. I've got the bright green blue, and then you see me pull it out over here to glaze with it when I was just doing that demo. You see me pull it down here as I'm loading my brush with it, but that's all it is. I'm never spreading my paint real thin unless I'm glazing or unless I'm mixing two colors, right? So like here I've got two colors that I've mixed together and pulled it into the middle. And so this spreads really thin and dries up very fast. So when you do that, you're constantly working against yourself. But you'll see that none of my other colors are pulled into really big pools. That's one of the things to watch out for when watching YouTube videos. And this isn't trying to shame anybody on YouTube, but a lot of the YouTube painters will just spread their paint all over the place to make it more visible what they're doing, I think. Right, so they spread out big piles of paint and work in this very whimsical way. That's really horrible if you're trying to conserve paint. Not only is that way too much paint for painting miniatures in most cases, but spreading your paint thin means that more of the paint is touching air. The more paint that touches air, the more evaporation. The more evaporation, the quicker they're curing, and you're working against yourself. So go back over to the paint.
Blowing Fetty's mind. I'm just gonna say Bess because I don't know what the J and the F sounds like together. It said, as a total noob, the fact that your paint doesn't need to be thinned is a huge appeal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do a whole lot of thinning. You can use it right out of the bottle for almost everything, as you're just base coating, right? Like I said, as you start to learn more techniques, you'll know that the various opacities of paint are what really make painting work. And that's how just loading that brush, that really quick segment, I'll make sure that we mark that down. Can you make a note for that segment? Chris will pull that segment out and put it off on its own so we can talk about loading for those three things. Because I think the way that I presented it there works a lot for people in terms of...
I had already marked that part down. I thought you meant about the wet palette.
No, that part you already marked down. That's fine.
Yeah,
right? Because I think that really works well and shows you what the general 50,000 foot look is. It's a lot more, I won't say complicated, it's a lot more in depth than the way I made it once you really start getting going. When you start finding your confidence in the way I just talked about, you'll say, oh, but if I do this, it'll make that, and do this. So there's a lot more ways to skin the cat, so to speak. But that gets you started.
Yeah, if Eddie, like Danger Boy is saying, you could use a plate or even just a ceramic tile from Home Depot, or whatever your local hardware store is that would sell tiles. Just don't use white or black. Jason's
100%.
back, the back of his is gray, as you can see.
Yeah,
So
don't want white tile, even though that's the cheapest, because you do, and I will say this too for if you're using palette paper, and unfortunately a lot of the wet palettes use white paper. White makes all of your colors look darker, and so you'll find that you might be fighting some of your color choice by it looking the way you want on the palette, but it's darker, and then when you put it on the model, it's lighter than that, because the white causes the contrast to be off. Same reason you don't want to do black paper. I don't know that anybody makes black palette paper, but you wouldn't want to use like black butcher paper or something like that, because it'll make all your colors look brighter than they really are.
Sandwich Bro said, my dad had a bunch of ceramic tiles he had gotten for cheap. It's a fractal design with a bunch of gray and white.
Nice.
Oh, sounds like that would work well.
Yeah, as long as it breaks it up visually so that you can see the color for what it really is, that's the part you're wanting the gray for. Gray or tan works really well.
Hydrate the brush enough to damp and use paint. Got it.
How much of a delay do you have going on?
Not really much.
Yep.
On the delay on stream might be, for certain people, there might be a little bit, but we don't run in latency mode. Some video game streamers do, just so you can't like stream snipe them and stuff. But we don't have that problem. We're live. This takes the longest of anything you do on a model. is the edge highlighting. We always joke about it. It's the least amount of paint you will use. It will take you the absolute longest to use it on the model, because you're figuring it out every time. Okay, do I want a little doot there and a little deet there, and
sorry, Blood Scolier was one of the giveaway winners yesterday.
Yeah.
And just wants to know, was there a follow-up step I needed to do, or just wait for an email?
You got to message Jabe. You got to message Jabe, Jabe, on our Discord.
On our Discord.
If you have not joined our Discord, Jen will throw the
link
command up there.
Which one I'm supposed
to join the Discord. Drop a private message to Jabe or call him out.
There you go. There's the link to our Discord if you're not already in it. And yeah, just send him a message. And he's on vacation right now. He's off until he'll be back Tuesday. So it might be a day or two before you see it. But our team is not shipping out anything over the weekend anyway. So it would be next week at the earliest before it would.
He's out playing Captain Ron. If you don't know this movie, then go watch it.
Captain Ron.
Do you remember that one with?
Well, that's Christopher.
Yeah,
that's Chris.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jabe is Gabe. Yeah, Kurt Russell is in.
Kurt
Russell.
Yeah, Goldie Hawn, right? Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn.
No, that's Overboard.
Oh no, yeah, that's Gold.
Yeah. That's Overboard, where she falls off the fancy yacht.
So they were in 2 boat movies together.
Was she in Captain
Ron
as well? I don't know.
I'm going to Googleize this. I feel. Oh, if that was the case, weren't they married?
They are, well, they're not, I don't think they're married, but they are, yes, they are a longtime couple. Still together. Overboard and Captain Ron.
Oh,
I don't think they are married.
Martin Short.
Yep, Martin Short. Your Science said Martin Short's in that too.
That's why I just saw there's a documentary about Martin Short.
Yeah, I just saw that would come out like on Netflix.
It's really
like
nice. And Steve Martin was asked, "How would you describe Martin Short?" And Steve had this amazing answer, and I hope people talk about me like this one day. He says, "If you're having a dinner party, and Martin Short is coming, and then all of a sudden Martin Short can't come, you cancel the dinner party."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a very heavy statement.
That's how great he is.
That's a very heavy statement.
Yeah.
Martin Short seems like a genuinely good guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's when his wife died, right?
Yep.
And when she had cancer.
Cancer, yeah, no, it hit him hard.
And she died of cancer, and he quit acting to go take care of his kids.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. He dropped his whole career while she was sick, and to go take care of her to be dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then once
he didn't hire an au pair
Yeah.
and go off to New Zealand to shoot movies, you know.
Yeah. Then he did, you know what? Something in the Murders, whatever that was.
Oh, that was Rick Moranis, said What Tomato.
What was?
What you're saying.
Oh,
Rick Moranis did it, not Martin Short.
Yeah,
I thought Martin Short
Oh,
did too, because
I
Martin
thought
Short
so.
just talked about that too.
Yeah.
It was maybe I'm wrong.
That's right. Rick Moranis, though, yeah, he's one.
Oh well.
We started a war
Who did?
on the feed. No, that's Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's Rick Moranis. We get it.
all right, internet.
Yeah, Martin Short's daughter passed away recently.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. She had a mental health
Yes.
issue. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Spaceballs. I hope it's good. Did you see the new Spinal Tap?
I saw that they're shooting it.
Oh, it was amazing. It came out.
It came out?
Oh, it was brilliant.
I have not
If
seen
you're a
it.
Spinal Tap fan, I think they did a great job on it.
I need to see it because Spinal Tap is one of the greatest movies of all time. This one goes to 11.
I don't think I've seen Spinal Tap since I was maybe in high school.
Oh,
We need to watch that again.
Yeah.
Just
I
if
would
nothing
watch
else,
that.
just for the
I
Stonehenge.
love that kind of.
When they pay all the money for the Stonehenge prop and it comes down and it's like a little person and the Stonehenge stones are like 3 foot tall and they're all on stage looking at it. They're so pissed off. It's so great.
I know it's one of the most cheesier parts and most iconic of that movie, but it still gets me. The mannerisms and his delivery on it goes to 11.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just.
He's so happy.
It's so
But this one
it's
goes
so
to 11.
Don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. Oh my gosh.
The spontaneous combusting drummer.
Yep.
Love that type of movie.
Rob Reiner.
Yeah, Rob Reiner.
But Christopher Guest was in it too, right?
Yep.
He's there and he's
Yes,
in this one. They all came back for
Yeah,
the
all of them. David. They all. Yeah.
Best in Show, one of my all-time.
Oh yeah, I just watched that the other. I just went through
movies.
all of them.
Is he one of the dog
I
guys?
love it, yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. What was it? I saw what Christopher Guest plays in a Mighty. No, not a Mighty Wind.
He's in A Mighty Wind.
No, which one's the one that
Waiting for Guffman.
Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah.
I just saw when he's dancing with his pants back. Oh my gosh,
So good.
so good.
Jay Matthias, the disembodied voice, is Jason's friend Zach, who is in town and just hanging out with us.
Big D?
Yeah.
Yep, from the Big D.
Although it
Not
sounds
really.
like it's really he's from his
He's
global
from the
jaunting.
road.
Yeah, I haven't been home in 4 weeks. I've been on the road for 4 weeks. But here's what's crazy. I was in New York City, flew to New York City from Dallas, flew to Austin, drove home from Austin, flew to L.A., flew back to Dallas. The next day, flew to Santa Barbara, flew back to Dallas. The next day, flew to Phoenix. Here I am today.
Wow. I was just in Santa Barbara not too long ago, a couple weeks
It's a nice
ago.
spot.
I really liked it. I'd never been there before. The people were so nice. The weather was beautiful. It was clean.
We stayed at, my client put me up at the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, nice.
That's never a bad thing.
It's not
Yeah.
a bad thing, but I'm not a big fan of the luxury hotels.
Okay.
They're giant. It was $950 a night.
Oh,
Ouch.
geez.
It's a pretty hotel, sure.
Yeah.
The hospitality wasn't there.
Really?
I went to, they had this outside breakfast, and I saw that they had Diet Cokes near where you grab drinks, whatever. And I said, "Oh, do you have any regular Cokes?" He goes, "Well, I can go get you one." All right, we're starting off good. Perfect, thank you. Comes back, and it's warm. It's just a warm Coke. And I'm like, okay. So now I have to ask, do you have any ice? He goes, "I can get you ice, but I got to go back over where I got the Coke."
Oh, like it's putting him out.
I was like, dude.
Well, did you think I was asking to what?
Yeah, so I was like,
ooh, boy, room temperature Coke. Fantastic.
And then I got to the pool to relax for a couple hours, and they have to make the chairs look real pretty, you know. So they have the towels, whatever. Well, this woman was putting towels on everything, and the pool's open. I'm sitting on a chair with no towels. I don't care, but it's like I'm noticing she was walked by me who knows how many times. Never once said, "Can I get you any towels?" or "Can I make up your chair?" Not once. I was like, this is $9.50 a night.
Yeah, right.
You're a tattooed heathen,
Yeah,
Zach.
exactly.
Oh, right, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're a tattooed heathen.
Yeah, but
you don't get attention.
Yeah.
Well, we get the negative attention.
Belial wants to know what you do that you can travel so much, and said, "I'm kind of jealous."
So I own a video production media creative company, and I have some really cool clients that keep me traveling. The U.S. Navy, National Geographic, Pokemon.
I love the Pokemon story. That forevermore, Zach is the Pokemon guy. Because asking questions about Pokemon, this is why this will hit the way it does.
Yeah.
Hey Zach, what is your favorite Pokemon?
I only know of Pikachu and Charizard out of the 2,000 that exist, probably.
I love that.
Pokemans.
The Pokemans. Oh my God.
People ask me all the time, it's like, well, what, do you want to learn how to play any of the games? I'm like, absolutely not. I don't have room in my 48-year-old brain.
Okay, so I have a story. My nephew, when he lived here, some in chat might remember this. So my nephew was having a hard social time. He moved down here. His mother, my sister, had passed away. His dad and he moved down here. We brought his dad on here for work just to give him a good head start after my sister passed. And my nephew was having a hard time in school and being social and new friends, and as a kid would. And so me, being the nerd uncle, I was like, what about let's go teach him how to play Pokemon? So we bought a couple Pokemon decks and put these decks together. He got really excited. We went up to a store here locally that does Pokemon on like Wednesdays and Saturdays. I think we went up on a Saturday and sat down and played in just a open Pokemon day, right? And just played. And I told everybody, I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. My nephew's never really played. And of course he's like, oh, yes, I have. And whatever. But I was like, I neither have I, so we're just new and we're just starting. But around here playing Pokemon and stuff, I call them Pokemans. Right? I was like, I'm going to kill your Pokemans. So I took my stick to the store. Holy.
I got Pokemon stories.
Holy. I did not know what I stepped in.
Yeah.
I was like, so if I do this, do I kill your Pokemans? And the woman across from me goes,
tell who you were playing.
I didn't know until I said this. She goes, they are Pokemon.
No, but you got to explain the person.
Well, I know, but it happens like as she's telling me this, I'm like, oh, but it's just my Pokemans. I'm going to kill your Pokemon. We don't kill Pokemon. We knock them out. And she then explains to me that she is the national or the regional head of judges. She is a 10-year, like whatever their top color level of judge in the world is. She has judged worlds, and she gave me this whole thing, and I'm just like,
I feel, that's what I broadcast as worlds.
She's probably been there.
What do you remember her name?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's.
She's like a middle-aged woman, right?
Her name, Karen, was her name.
Yeah. That's my product. I do.
Karen.
I do the world.
She was Pocket Karen.
Pocket Karen.
But she explained to me that Pokemon stands for pocket monsters, and I go, well, now they're mansters, and it's me killing your Pokemans. And she didn't want to have anything to do with me, and I was just having fun. I was just like, lighten up, broad. Like, this is not that big of a deal. Like, we were playing Pokemon, and I get it, but I'm going to kill your Pokemans. They are knocked out! Blah, 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 blah. And she chattered, and we did it at Funkatronic Rex, and Mike let me know after the fact that she was not happy with me. She was like, those are not the kind of people we need in the Pokemon community. And Mike was like, he is amazing. He is exactly who you want in the Pokemon community. Because the thing that she was missing is I was having a blast. And we were having fun. And I was playing the game right and respecting the rules and all that. But the fact that I called it a Pokemans and that I was killing new Pokemans.
There are a lot of rules on set, but here's a crazy story for you.
Listen, lady, I paint tiny figures for fun. Line up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I've been working with him for 3 years now, and at the end of every regional game, the international ones, and then the worlds, they give you swag to the crew.
Oh my God.
Pokemon cards.
You probably get the best stuff ever, dude.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to have people in chat trying to contact you. Hey, can we be Zach's friend? Zach, do you have a phone number?
You would think, but I didn't collect it. I didn't care for it, so I would throw it away.
Oh, no.
And then...
Don't tell them. We're going to mute your microphone.
I know.
And then you found out on eBay it's worth $100,000.
And then, then I was like, well, why am I throwing it away? That's... Oh, and then I would give it to people on this... I didn't throw it away.
I was going to say, do you still talk to Jim?
Yes, kind of. We talk every once in a while.
Jim would probably take it off your hands.
But so then finally I was like, I had a card, and I was like, man, I really don't want this. Do you want it? And he's like, that's $500 right there. I was like, oh. So now I keep everything. I'm saving it up. I'm gonna take it to some Pokemon store if they exist, and I'm gonna.
Oh, they exist.
Yeah.
Yes,
there are dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Seize him, clap him in irons.
This is why I said, Chad, I am forever more calling Zach the Pokemon guy.
Yeah.
Because he is 100% not the Pokemon guy.
Yeah. It's like calling me. It's like calling a big guy tiny.
Yeah, exactly. I love that for you, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, but there's a lot of rules.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, like from a production standpoint, like what the rules are for how it's presented, what they can say and can't say when they're on camera, kind of a thing.
Oh yeah, I mean we have delay. So we have delay. We have people in control that can monitor, like if something replay, and we can adjust. If someone does do something that's not
untoward, or where you have a delay, so you can swap it in. Yeah. No, you have to run it like a newsroom kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we film commercials on set a couple days before we do the show.
Oh wow.
So
that's awesome, though.
Zach is the Pokemon.
He is the Pokemon.
He is the Pokemon.
Yeah, it's the Pokemon. Pokemon.
Stan said you get that in Warhammer as well. People who think all games are tournament training and can't play the game in a fun way.
You know, I used to talk that way, and you probably still will catch me talk that way. The fun is that for them, and that's the part I have to remember, is that for some people that is their fun. It isn't necessarily for me, not that I haven't been there and played some games at a level where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all in. Let's get this done. Let's kick some ass. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're going to partake, understand and respect what you're partaking in, right? If I'm going to go and play Warhammer for the first time in a local tournament, then I have to be ready for what I get, right? Does that make sense? Because it's a tournament. We had that happen here with War Machine. When I was playing War Machine heavily, we would have people that would come in to our War Machine local and introduce the game to a friend of theirs during a tournament. And the tournament is a tournament for a reason. It's not a casual. It's we're here to, you know, people are running practice games, they're training for it, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, if you bring your friend in, please help them understand that, yeah, playing in a tournament for your first one is going to be a little rough because you're going to run up against people who are there to beat you and who are not going to sit there and answer a bunch of questions. You're playing, especially War Machine, because back then you played on a clock. You played on a chess clock, right? But the difference is when you go to casual night on a Wednesday at your local store and you run into that guy, then it's his problem, right? Because if he's trying to be Tournament Ted and beat the crap out of everybody on casual Wednesday, then there's an issue. Well, I hope everybody out there is realizing how good of a job this is doing of giving you non-metallic armor with just a single coat of one step and a highlight. One of the things that I got super excited about when testing one step, and that really kind of I don't know that it was the thing that solidified. I was already solidified and wanting to make it happen. But one of the things that I got really excited about was when you could do exactly what I'm doing here, do a coat of one step over a zenithal and then some highlighting and get a great non-metallic workup for armor, weapons, whatever you got. And because I'm hoping that this gets people intrigued and kind of over the hump, so to speak, on trying to get their non-metallic metal better, or to try it for the first time.
I've got a question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What do you do with these? I mean, I see there's tons of them around here, but when you're done with them, like,
Here it comes, Chet.
What do you do with
what
them?
do you do with them? Do people offer to buy them? Do you do, like, what's the deal?
Well, for me personally, these are all just the examples because, we'll get people in chat that'll say, hey, how do I make a really cool red? And I'll grab a model where we've done, okay, so the red on this, is that good? Then I'll tell you how I did this red. So, there's various models in a bajillion different stages. We've painted them, some of these have been painted, 5 years ago.
Okay.
That are up here. And so we keep them as ways to go back and show people what it is that I'm putting into words, because sometimes I don't have the exact model to just show you live what it is, but I can pull a model. Like somebody might ask, okay, well, how do I paint wings, white wings or something? And I'll say, okay, well, here's what I do. And I'll pull a model down and we can talk about how I would paint feathers.
So reference material for...
Yeah, like what I do and things like that. So it's really just demo stuff.
For Jason.
For me.
Yeah.
Now, for the crowd, usually people are painting these for the games that they play.
Games.
That's the biggest thing. Now, we do have the artistic models and busts and things that you would paint to build dioramas with. But the largest focus for people is the game. And out of that, the largest focus is Warhammer, which is the biggest game in the world for miniature tabletop.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and so people are like, I've got this new army. I don't know what color to choose. What would you do? And so we'll kind of come up with a color scheme based on their wants, and I'll show them how to do that color, and then they'll run off and start applying that color to their army.
I'm going to do a beer break real quick since we have 15 minutes. This will be beer number 4, just so you all know.
It's like the old days.
Yeah.
He's like, party!
It is 3:46.
He told earlier, I'm going to call him out on this, because he was like, the older I get, he's like, my golden hours are from 3 to 7. He goes, after 7, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, welcome to it. I love that. I was like, yep, the older we get, Jen and I are like, we'll go out to dinner, and then we'll go home and play with the dogs. And by play, they will lay on Jen.
Yes, they lay on me. And if you ask Baby J, he will grab one of the models, reprime it, and show you how to paint it.
It sounds like he let the door close behind him.
Like
Nope, I'm right here.
Okay, good.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to learn. I've learned my lesson on that one.
Okay, I was going to tell Jen, just watch him so he can get back in.
Well, if you don't hear from me in 30 seconds. Okay.
He's in the courtyard.
But then there are a lot of people who paint them as just art display pieces.
Yep.
And then we make some new things that can be put in a frame.
Yeah, I showed him the frame.
Oh, yeah, those frames are really neat. Yeah. Hey, so I want to know, what are some of the age limits, or not age limits, age groups in your feed right now?
Oh.
Like, is there a demographic, or is it all over the place?
It is a very broad demographic. I think that, when we look at it from a standpoint of who our biggest customer is, right? Which I think is probably indicative of what we have in chat here, is that it is largely...
Oh, here we go. We're getting some numbers. Wow.
They're giving you their ages.
Ooh, 10, 59. Wow, this is great.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that will watch with their kids, so it spans, families. But for the bulk of the customer base, it's in that high 20s to kind of 60.
Yeah.
It's a very broad range. But as you can imagine, if you're playing with war dollies, you're most likely somebody that has a job with a stable income and that kind of stuff. But
okay, now what are your social security numbers and credit cards and PINs numbers? Go.
What's your mother's maiden name? If I were just, I'm kind of interested on what everybody's mother's maiden name might be.
Dude, I might have to every quarter come back. This is fun.
It is great to have you, and you're welcome here anytime.
Actually, I'll be here again for that insurance company this year.
You're here. Welcome here anytime.
Yeah.
Someone earlier said they like the vibe today.
Yeah.
It's a little that we did. We used to when Jason and I, well, not when we maybe when we first started streaming, We would stream Friday evenings.
Oh my God! And we used to
would
do
have Moscow Mules.
Oh yeah, there you
every
go.
week. We
Hang
would try a
out,
new
it was
Moscow Mule.
fun,
There you go.
and we quit
There were a lot of
cooking.
streams where Jen and Jason were fairly lit by the time we ended, because we also streamed for like 5 or 6
Long
hours.
time.
If
We
you
would
want
start
my-
at like 6 at night, and
I love this one. If you want my identity, please take my debt.
Take the debt?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Question from Sandwich Bro. Planning to get a mega set in the near future. I already have the metallic set. Would it be possible to replace the metallics included in the mega set with another set? Not really.
No,
Probably.
I will let you in on a secret. July 4th is our anniversary
You're hearing
date
it
for our
here
company.
first.
This year is our 10th anniversary. We're fudging it a little because technically January 4th is the anniversary of Monument Hobbies
July 4th,
as July 4th as an anniversary for Monument Hobbies. We've extended that to be inclusive of the Slow Fuse Gaming part 2 before we did our name change. So this is our 10-year anniversary. It's year 8 for Pro Curl, but year 10 for the company, and we will be doing a sale. So if you have something like the Mega Set that you don't need all of because you already have some and you don't want to just buy duplicates, then if you can hold out till the July 4th time frame, Kyle, our sales director, is working on all the information. There will be a sale coming up, and you'll be able to put kind of like your own mega set together and get the same kind of pricing. So I'll give you that secret, chat. Got it. Paint like crazy until July, yes. Then restock in July.
Vengeance. How do I brighten up brown?
How do you want to brighten it up? Do you want to...
Ooh, and I'll get the clouds of smoke too. Sorry, forgot that one earlier.
What's that?
Never mind. I'm just talking to someone in chat.
Do you want to create a highlight color for it? Or are you talking about like you want to create a brighter version of a brown so you can base coat with it? Help me understand what you're looking to do.
And then another question is, any tips for painting clouds of smoke?
Smoke is one of the... Well, okay, does it have a flame in it? I always hate that I ask so many questions when people ask me questions. I got to get the right info, though. It's not... They're not always just simple answers. If there is a flame involved, then the smoke will be brighter towards the middle or the inside of the smoke and darker at the outside. So you would kind of paint it reverse of how you would normally. If there's no flame involved, then you can treat it like anything normal, and you can start with like a dark gray and work up to a bright gray. I like the way it looks when you start with a bright gray and work up to a dark gray, so it's darker around the... If the smoke is in... some smoke is sculpted as like spheres of smoke, and some is wispy. But either or, if you start with a brighter color gray in the middle, or for your base coat, and then dry brush a medium tone, and then dry brush a dark tone at the top, that looks a lot better. When you think about it, that's how smoke works, is it comes from a heat or light source from the flame, somewhere inside of the smoke, as opposed to everything else, which is lit from the outside. Smoke is lit from the inside and outside. So...
Yeah, Wad, you're getting the hot goss here, and if you ask us outside of stream, we'll deny it.
The brown question come back?
Yes, for like belts, so leathery, I guess.
Brown is like any other color. Highlighting it, you just want to stay away from white, right? So a brighter yellow, oranges, those kinds of things are great adders to tint brown with. Obviously, lighter browns, flesh tones work really well. So that's the world to stay in to brighten it up.
Haley wants to thank you for the marble tutorial last week. Said it used it on one of my challenge minis for this month, and I really love how it turned out.
Awesome. But on the brown thing, when doing brown, one of the big deals that best ways that I like to do browns, especially for leather, is to take just something like dark umber, light umber, olive flesh. This is going to sound very repetitive for those people that have been here for a long time, because it is just kind of my go-to. You take dark umber, light umber, and olive flesh. Okay? So these three browns will give you a dark brown base, a mid-brown mid-tone, and a bright highlight. And you can mix these together if you want to get a tannish color, but I typically just do this, and then I do transparent brown over the top. So I will glaze a very thin down transparent brown over the top of them. So this will set up your contrast. So you do a shadow, a mid-tone, and a highlight. And if you're doing leather, you use this, and you do the little cracks and weathering and edge highlight and stuff with olive flesh. It'll look crazy because you've gone brown and then this real bright color. So it will look horrible. But then you put the transparent brown over it, and it looks fantastic. So let me show you something that I've done exactly that on.
Seismic, yes, eventually. We're working on it.
What would be... This is where Chris comes in hand. He tells me where I did this last.
I don't know. That's what I said.
Jen doesn't know. I think in our Space Marine we've done it. Yeah. So that's exactly what we've done on our Space Marine belt. Can you pop in super close? Mm-hmm. So this Space Marine belt is done that way. Dark umber, light umber, olive flesh. And then you put the brown transparent over the top, and the brown transparent makes the olive flesh become just a bright brown, but it also blends all of your colors together, so you can do it kind of heavy-handedly, right? And so now you've got what can be a very simple leather for belts, boots, whatever you want. I use that 90% of the time, even on display quality models. It's not a cheap, or it's not a dumbed down solution to the point to where you can't use it for very high quality painting. That's why I love it so much. And of course, you can use other transparent colors if you don't want it to just be, boring brown. If you wanted to add a little bit of red to it, you can put some red transparent in the brown transparent and green transparent in there too. So it can be whatever you need it to be.
Tom WZ, yes, 100%. It's a very good way to get started. It's the intro set has 11 colors plus 10 colors a wash and it's got a brush on primer in it.
Yeah.
It comes with 3 synthetic brushes. So yeah, that set alone would be a great way to get started. Any chance the Canadian site will be up and running in time for the sale in July?
Ooh, my hope is yes, but I don't know. A lot of the Canadian site is reliant upon production in Canada. Yeah. That's the harder thing. It's just been, I know it's been such a toil. People have been hearing me for over a year say the same thing, and the gears of business grind so slowly. Now that we have a really good basis for how our French office is running over in the EU, we're very confident in getting the Canadian office open, but then we decided we were going to produce for Canada out of that office, and so that slowed us back down a little bit.
Oh, Fuzzsaw said, I did my Scouts leather with dark umber, orange oxide, bright yellow ochre, then the transparent. Looked awful until that last step.
Oh, yeah.
So don't give up.
That's also a great color combo to give it a little more warmth, right? That gives it a little bit more warmth with the orange oxide. So that's a great color combo. Yeah, that's one of those techniques where you're underpainting with chromatic colors that make sense, the browns, but when you put that highlight on, it's like, what have I done? And then you put the transparent over the top, and it's like, oh, that's what I've done. I've succeeded. It's great.
Roadside Miniatures said, when you have a model that is depicting active magic, what color or colors are your go-tos for painting the sculpted active magic?
I'm a big fan of, what I call, Witchfire green, the bright yellow green kind of colors. But also things in purple and magenta I think work well. If it's a dark necromantic magic, I think purples and magentas, dark blues. If it's just regular magic, I say regular magic, like it's a thing you'll meet in the alleyway. I like greens, unless it's like a fireball, I don't know. I guess you got to think about it and get all nerdy and say, what's the story you're trying to tell?
Hey, would it be okay if I did a plug for my photography?
Do it.
Hey guys, if you're out there and you're on Instagram, Zulu Whiskey.
Do you want me to type it in?
Oh yeah, if you want, yeah, that'd be cool. Is how you can see what I do for a living.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking.
I think you'll like it. It's some really good photography. My mom says I'm the best in the world. It's so Zulu Whiskey, ZULU WHISKEY. And my logo is the old Santa Cruz screaming hand, but with a camera in the hand and the camera's screaming, so you'll know it's me.
Go give him a follow.
Awesome.
Yeah, give
Zach
me a
does
follow.
fun stuff.
Give me a follow. And I'll follow you back.
You remember the age for, what was that? Follow for follow or whatever it was?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Dude, do you also remember, what was it, MySpace, when you had a top 9?
Oh, yeah.
And if you got out of that top 9, oh man, something was wrong in your relationship.
Oh, yeah. The old social media dynamics.
Yeah.
Why am I not in your top 9 anymore?
Right? Oh my gosh. You could choose your song.
You could HTML your page
Oh my
into
gosh.
stardom, my friend.
Oh my gosh, that's how a lot of people learn to program.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I had an awesome Flash-based
Yep.
MySpace page.
I loved being a Flash developer. The programming, the keyframes, I just love seeing that coming together. It was like After Effects.
Yep.
In a sense.
Well, that's what
But
took
it
its
was
place was
but it
After
for
Effects.
websites. You could actually make things clickable.
Yep.
My mom says that too. Makes me think
Only one mom is telling the truth out there.
Yeah, whose mom is lying? Wait a minute. I feel like this is combat hour.
Does your dad also say, get a real job?
Slick GLN said, can the special sauce be used with other paint brands and acrylic inks?
Yes, it can be used with them. I would always test first. The thing that we say is, so long as the acrylic that you're mixing it with does not have its own specialized thinning medium, then you should be fine. Some paints have their own thinner, right? Some of them have like a thinner with a little bit of alcohol in it, things like that. Those you might find struggle with, only because our resins may not like theirs. There is a world in acrylic where not all of them are made the same. Some use cheaper resins, and the cheaper resins won't play well with ours. But I would say, on the whole, the paints that you're going to have at your disposal are probably all going to work fine. But test it first, just to make sure.
Brew an Hour, glad to hear you love it, and more are coming. Definitely. We got 12 more, right?
Yep, 12 more colors.
At
Want to see
first
them?
release at Gen Con.
You want to see them?
Oh.
You want to see them?
Yes.
You think they're worth it?
I do.
You think chat deserves to see?
Chat has been very well behaved today.
All right.
They are good people.
We'll celebrate Zach. Can you pop out
Yes.
to the full? All right.
We called it noosh because it was new. It was a new type of wash, and nothing ever existed, so we didn't know what else to call it.
Noosh.
That's literally the story.
Thank you, Bogas Timaga.
Yes, you're getting good
Yeah,
compliments
hell
that
yeah.
People are liking your...
Is it Bogas?
We just say bogus.
Bogus. Okay, bogus.
Is that bogus stuff, Nikki?
We tend to abbreviate.
Bogus mage.
Bogus mage.
The
Bogus mage. Got it.
so we have
Very ganoosh.
yeah. Well,
Bogus.
we really
Bogus.
got
it. Gotcha.
we really had a fun time. We giggled way too much when we were like just new shit,
Yeah.
because noosh
Noosh.
it, but
Yeah,
new
noosh
shit,
it.
and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was new shit. So
We also had butt sets, but that's a different...
Say
yeah, we
what?
have butt sets. So get your butt
The
sets.
sphincter says what?
So one of the colors in the next one is we're gonna probably call it bright cool gray. It is our white. Popping one more. The idea with this is it is a great base for white. So that's what you have here on the torso, with a dry brush of titanium white over it. So it gives you a really good foundation for doing like your stormtroopers. You can imagine putting together an entire clone army like this and having just those really nice kind of cool shadow tones to your white. It just makes the white look cleaner and give you the ability to then weather it wherever you want to. This is what it looks like without the dry brush on it, right? So the bright cool gray gives you a white that you can do, white scars, whatever you want. We have a really good red. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, the red is so good.
Stan
Right.
4699. I'm going to say pale and veiny, purple veins and green veins. Yeah.
Wizard's butt is exactly the color it wants to be.
Yeah.
We make a color called Wizard's butt, Zach.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And Wizard's butt
I
is
was
made
way off.
when we have batches of pigment that we use to mix and fill paint, but there's not enough left to do another batch. It sits off to the side, and every now and then production will take those minimum batches and mix them into crazy colors, and then mix and fill those into paint, and we just wind up with it's whatever color it wants to be. These are exactly the same bottle with exactly the same barcode on it. So when you get Wizard's butt, you never know what color it's going to be.
So if they buy Wizard's butt, they don't know what they're getting.
Well,
right.
We
So it's
out
been
just giving them away.
It's
Okay.
been
rather
like
than selling them.
That's
tons
fun.
We had
of different colors.
we had some that we made specifically for this purpose.
Got it. That's fun.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And we did make a full set. So 6 different colors, all called Wizard's Butt.
Yeah, it's great. There's some great colors in it too. I try not to use them as much on stream because if you didn't get them, you don't get them.
Yeah,
Right.
once they're done, they're done.
Also, in the next set is a like Goblin Green. Don't trust the finish will be better on. These are all test models as I'm going through the color tests, but the viscosity's off, so you'll see them blotchier here than they will be.
One step that butt.
So the one step red, one step bright yellow green, and then we've got a dark turquoise coming in set 2, which is beautiful. It's the torso, not the arms.
Ooh, I like
The
that
arms
blue.
are the first colors. You see the arms are brighter.
Oh, yeah.
We're going with the darker turquoise on the
like
torso.
it.
I've got 2 really, really cool gross yellows. One of them is a greenish yellow that works really well. We were talking about oil stains earlier. It's a great color there. And then an orangish yellow that are both just darker, grimier versions of yellow that you can use to weather things as opposed to the warm yellow that we had in the first set. That's a more clean, crisp yellow color.
That Rocket Man guy reminds me of that 1990s movie Rocket Man with. Do you remember that movie?
It's like giant. It's like an iron giant.
No, it was with the guy who played Superman back in the day with.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Christopher Reeve?
No, it was the TV show.
Oh, Dean Cain.
Dean Cain. He
Yeah.
played in Rocket Man.
Oh, okay.
It was a movie like in the 90s. But that's the
don't
body
remember.
armor kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it has that very 50s,
yeah,
50s, you know. We have a neutral black, just a spot on black that'll be in set 2. So rather than the blue black, it's just black, right? So it'll be a great way to get your base black, however you want it.
The
We'll be doing,
Rocketeer.
of course, my favorite, dark purple, just because everything I do has dark purple on it. So we have a dark purple. And then the colors I don't have to show you right now are
Dark Sea Ben.
Dark Sea Ben. Yeah. Dark Sea Ben. Oh, Rust,
Rust.
which if you didn't get Rust at Adepticon, it was a limited edition color that we released at Adepticon. It will be in set 2, so you'll have Rust. You can finally get your grubby hands on Rust. And then the blue from the Expert Acrylics. Why is it? Why am I losing it? Why am I losing it? Prussian blue. So I have Prussian blue as well. So it's a really good kind of like dark midnight blue.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
So now when you're painting, since there's so many colors to get the effect that you want, do you have metallics like golds and silvers and stuff, or do you have to, okay, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have metallic paints that act like they have a shine to them,
Got it.
right? So you can just paint that on.
Okay.
And we have golds and silvers and bronzes and coppers, right?
And
so they can do that. I typically don't paint that way. I typically paint with what we call non-metallic gold, which is when you take non-shiny colors and paint them like they're gold.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So you make it look what it needs to.
You fake it,
Yeah.
right?
like
Because
it.
this you can control the light on. The highlights will always be, even if I turn the model upside down, the bright spots are always where I want them. Metallic paint shines where the light hits it because it's really reflective.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, I'm a control freak. I want to paint the model as if it was a photograph so that this slice of life that I've painted has the light coming from a particular direction. Everything's baked onto it. And no matter how you turn it or what room you're in, what light you're looking at it in, it'll always tell the same story. Reflective paints, I don't like gloss varnish. I don't like things that make the light in the room have more of an effect on the model. That's just my personal preference.
And if my followers out there, my army, I took some great photos of the studio and some.
No, that's fun. I
Jason
want to
work,
see those.
and I'm
I think
gonna
you got some
I'm gonna
great
post those as well. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Very cool. Krieg's set 2 will be released first at Gen Con, kind of like what we did at Adepticon, and then on our website a couple weeks after, probably early August, I think, is the plan.
I think we got it.
Hello,
the armor
Boshek.
kind of knocked out. Just some edge highlighting really turned that armor up to 11. This one goes to 11, right? So the non-metallic, especially coming through like on this shoulder and elbow here, just some edge highlighting turns the base coat with the one step into non-metallic without even trying. Same way we did with the gold on this guy, right? Is you just wind up with a really good finish for very low investment. Those of you that are afraid of non-metallic metal, I think if you go back and watch this week's streams, you'll really find that with one step we've got you covered. You can just have so many ways to get to a really, really good look that can make that that fearful technique something that you can just dive right into and have some really good luck with it. Any rules for mixing colors to make a triad? You want to move away from being reliant on established triads and make your own. Established triads, are you talking about paint triads, like the way the hobby companies talk about triads, where you just have a dark, a mid-tone, and a light version of the same color? Or are we talking about triads from color wheel triads? Because the real way to talk about triads is the color wheel, where you take split complementaries and triads, colors that work well together. But I think what you mean is shadow, mid, and highlight. Yeah, okay. To mix your own is really not even having a mix. We create triads in a way where, like, you'll find people will laugh because I always start with dark purple. Dark purple is one of the best shadow colors you can ever use, okay? Reason being is that purple is blue and red. Blue is cool, red is warm. So it's one of the only colors that takes a cool tone and a warm tone, mixes them together, and gives you a really good base color to start with. This makes your shadow color able to fit almost anything you paint. So, and when you look at what triads I paint with, let's just take flesh. So if I'm doing Caucasian flesh, I can start with dark purple, I can move that into shadow flesh, and then I can use something like peach flesh, right? This is not what you would call a standard triad because these aren't the same color families, right? This is really a yellow or a peach, right? This is a red, right? Or a brown, depending on which way you want to look at it. And this is a blue, right? In the grand scheme of things. So you got a yellow, a red, and a blue. But together, when you use this, you wind up with a great way to do skin that is what I did here, right? So this is the exact skin tones that I used on Bilbo. Jen needs to sing it. Bilbo, Bilbo.
Someone asked earlier if Zach would sing it.
Oh.
What is it?
So this is Bilbo Baggins.
Oh, Bilbo Baggins.
This is Bilbo Baggins from the Rankin and Bass 1970s cartoon.
I'm familiar with this. I remember this
And his
one.
little song was Bilbo, Bilbo, greatest little hobbit of them all. And our producer is such a nerd. He loves this, and he says it like a million times every show. He has it to where I hear it in the middle of the night in my head. But now they all want us to sing the Bilbo song every time we do it. But so this is how his skin was painted, was these three colors, right? So that's a triad for skin, but I don't like the term triad because we baked it into the hobby world as something that means a dark tone, a mid-tone, and a light tone of the same color. What the thing you need to take away is what a triad really is a dark tone, a mid-tone, and a bright tone. End of story. Forget color, you just need a dark, middle, and bright value. Now, talk about what you want to paint. If I wanted to paint red, right, I would take these away because they don't make sense for red, right? Take my flesh tones out, could keep my purple, and now I could take something like red oxide and orange red. That could be my triad, and that is how we did, where'd it go? Boom. Something like this. Right? So again, these two are in hue. They're both reds, but they're not the same red just brightened up. This one has a lot more yellow in it. This one does not. Right? And so you have a blue, a red, and a red with yellow in it that's moving towards orange, but not quite. And that can be a great triad for you. You could just literally take orange and do that. right? It would have obviously a more trend towards a warmer highlight on the edges, but you could do something like that. But again, you've got a dark color, a mid-tone color, and a bright color. That's the way you need to think about your triads. And so now you can start playing when you get confident with that and grabbing hues that don't necessarily think that they go together. You're like, what if I took dark jade, right, as my shadow and wanted to use that with yellows? So then I want to go with a mid-tone of somebody who's doing yellow ochre earlier, a mid-tone of yellow ochre, and then a bright tone of ivory or bright ivory. That would be awesome, right? This would be an awesome color, a great workup for maybe a cloth that you're doing, right? Or an armor color or whatever you're doing, flag, right? Whatever. You can imagine this as a triad because of a dark, a mid, and a bright. And so now you can just kind of grab a dark, a mid, and a bright out of your collection. And as long as they're not like clown suit colors, you try to want to stay away from like primaries. But if you're starting to look at stuff like that, then you can just start playing with your paint collection. Your paint collection just became 100 times more powerful if you start thinking like what I just showed you, because that's the way I paint. And I'm never worried about color because all I have to do is go out there and find a dark and a medium and a bright color. And then you start doing things like red oxide under green for your army man. Zach, this was fun. We painted, remember these guys? These army men you got as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
So we bought these, the crappy little rubber army men. We had a challenge on our Discord channel where you had to take an army man and paint it and make it look a lot better. And so we did this live on stream.
Wait, that is one of the original, like, you could buy at the store ones that you painted like
for like $100 for $1. Yep. This is like dollar store army man.
Whoa.
And this is all me using, your painting techniques to make a stupid little model because it's this guy. Well, it's this kind of guy. This is the other one. But it's one of these.
Wow, that's incredible.
Isn't it? Yeah, so it's taking the paint skill that we teach people and showing you how powerful your brush strokes and brush control can be when the detail's not even on the model. Because the army, they're horrible. They're not the miniatures you would pick up and say, what's great? No, they're not great models. But they can be made to be really fun by applying the techniques that you learn on miniatures that do have a lot of detail. But here, we use red oxide as the shadow for our camo green.
The gun and the binoculars are amazing.
Yeah, that's just our non-metallic. That's our fake. That's our fake metallic.
And
painting.
The buckles, I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, and it's the buckles don't even exist on the model. We just painted them on there so it looked like it had some detail, right? Huh. But yeah, so using red under green those are complementary colors. So on the color wheel, it would tell you red and green go great together. But if you look at the color wheel, it's like bright red, bright green. Not something I'm going to use. It looks like Christmas. But here you avoid the Christmas by desaturated red in the red oxide and desaturated green in the camo green. And now all of a sudden you have colors that you might not have thought about, but look really, really cool and make your greens a lot more lively.
What I love about it, the shadows are, I guess, they're not strong. It's real lighting.
Right. It's natural. It's not, even though the color might not be, but the green and the red trend towards brown.
But I never, I mean, I have to deal with light all the time, and I never even thought of the red. That's really nice.
Right. So it's just a way that you can start playing with color and be less afraid of it and start saying, I need a dark, and I need a mid-tone, and I need a bright, and start putting colors in those slots that match the dark, mid, bright part of it, and worry less about hue, and play around and see what you get. Like I said, a bright blue on top of a red isn't going to work very well. So you're going to want to have, like, if you're doing reds, you want to keep over in, like, the yellows, oranges, browns. But then your shadow can be blues and purples and stuff. So you'll learn which things work and don't. There are still some rules that you'll fall into that aren't really hard, fast rules, but are things you'll just say that, I get why you don't highlight red with blue, right? It just sometimes doesn't work very well.
So now, these things are so tiny, and you're using just a minuscule paint. Do you ever overdo it? And if you do, how do you correct it?
Oh, geez, yes. Yeah, you can overdo it very simply.
Yeah.
You can get paint outside the lines.
Is it easy to fix, or do you have to really kind of...
If you're quick, yes, because the paint doesn't dry instantly, but acrylic dries pretty quick. So if you see it and you notice it, you can grab a brush that's clean, get it wet, and erase it. Mm-hmm. And do that if you do it quick. If you don't catch it quick, like... I have a model over here that was...
You had one not too long ago that you had to fix.
Yeah, and I have one that we just found the other day. I just don't remember where I put it. Oh, here he is.
And by the way, Mike Disney, hello.
And by the way, thank you. I have 11 new followers.
Look at you.
Damn.
So this guy has been sitting on the desk, and what always we're at risk of is we're splashing paint around. Well, at some point in time, like, he got a droplet of paint that flew through the air and hit him. That's not supposed to be there. Now it's almost a perfect circle, so we could turn it into like a birthmark or a tattoo or something. But I will have to fix that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's dry. I can't scrape it off because if I scrape one layer of paint, you're typically going to scrape all the layers of paint because the way acrylic is it just turns into plastic.
Yeah.
So I will have to paint, but what I will do is I don't have to paint like all of this area because I can section it out to just be this little arrowhead shape here.
So I'll
just paint that.
You should turn that into a cigar burn. Like he just got in a bar fight and the guy's like, "You want to battle me, bro?"
Yeah, it could be battle damage. You know, if it was on a tank or something metal, that would be good. Since it's on flesh, I'll repair it.
Yeah.
And I'll paint it, but I won't have to paint everything. I'll just paint this little section, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I find stuff like that, sometimes it's frustrating, but you know, the less you care, the more you realize you can fix anything because it's not brain surgery. Nobody's going to die on the table. It's just like, oh, the hardest part for me is I got to remember what colors I painted when I find something like that, so I can go back and fix it with the right colors. Yeah. Right.
Zach, ask him if he's glued
glued
shoulder pads upside down.
Okay, so on this guy right here, while we were painting him, we got pretty far down the road of painting him, and then I went in to start painting the little blood teardrops that are on his chest and stuff, and they're fine. It's a teardrop. It's supposed to be right there in that direction, and then I came over to this shoulder plate, and I go to paint it. It was upside down. The teardrop went the other way, and it made me go, what the heck? I had glued this, or somebody had glued the shoulder pad on wrong. And the shoulder pad was upside down.
Oh.
And no, it was me. I just try to blame everyone. I just don't want to blame myself. I don't make mistakes.
You should use the story of how back when the Native Americans would sew things together, they'd always make a mistake because they didn't want to piss off the spider web god or whatever.
The weaver.
The weaver of So that was a purpose mistake. So you didn't.
Well, it wasn't. I don't have that on me. That was just a mistake. Because when I started painting, I was like, oh, damn. Because this model's resin. It's not plastic. Resin is a type of plastic. But the resin models are more brittle. So having to take parts apart once it's already been... Because I use super glue.
Oh, jeez.
So this was super glued on. So I was in there and we did this live on stream. And I got like tools up under there. And I started trying to pop the shoulder plate off.
Christmas sushi.
And try to get
on a boat.
What?
How do you have Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Chris is like, we don't talk about that stream. But so I was trying to pop the shoulder plate off, and I realized that it was going to hurt the wing. So I said, okay, chat, get ready for this. And I took the wing, and I go crack, and I broke the wing off. I popped the wing off so that I could get to the shoulder pad, so that I could pop the shoulder pad off. Then we popped the shoulder pad off and fixed it. But, you know, I think what we tried to teach on that stream was it didn't matter. This model's like $100. But at the end of the day, it's like it has to be right. So I got to be unafraid to fix it. Otherwise, it's a total waste. Yeah. So went in there and broke the wing, re-glued the wing, did the thing you'd never know. You'd never know that we had any problems with it at all.
And now the shoulder pads are correct and everything.
Now the shoulder pads are correct and we repainted it. Right, I went through and on that live stream a couple weeks back, we went through and repainted him from pretty much from scratch. I left the wings alone, but I went through and repainted the body. So, you know, I'm never afraid to fix if it makes the model better. Right, doesn't matter if you repaint it. If it's like that model, I repainted the whole thing because I wasn't happy with the gold. So I'm like, okay, we're just going to prime it and repaint it. So I don't do that very often.
I think next time I come back, and I'm going to come back, I want to paint one.
That would be awesome. You know what? Chat has been asking a lot more to have what they say real humans.
I've never done this before. So
I don't know what that means when they say they want real humans painting.
Dum-dums like me.
I'm real. Hello. But yeah, but having somebody, because Chris, our producer, and Jen and other people will sit up here and I'll coach like what to do. And it helps chat a ton because it puts them in the driver's seat. It's like, oh, I get it now. I have the same problems Zach just had. And so, yeah, that'd be great.
You know,
what do you think, Chad?
July off, maybe.
Has he earned a spot
of
privilege to come paint with us?
Yeah, could I come back and chit-chat with you and get to know you guys? This is kind of fun.
I don't ever strip models, Chandler. I don't. I just literally do a light coat of primer maybe over it with the airbrush. Just a light. You can still see some of the color through it, but it kind of grays it all out with black primer. That's all I do. Right? And then I start from scratch over that. Sometimes I'll just paint right over the top of the colors and not even reprime it. It depends on if I painted it or if somebody else did. You know, we bought these off of eBay or Facebook for Conquest, right? It's the Old Dominion. And so we got the models in this shape. And the gentleman that sold them to us, I was like, oh, he's got a good foundation of color. I like this kind of weird, desaturated, jadish green stone, right? The rest of it, it's all just speed paint and washes, right? So it's like, okay, it's not great, but it has some good color on it, whatever. And I said to myself, I can make this look good. And so what we did is we took that and turned it into this without doing anything other than painting the details, right? And getting rid of like the speed paint look, because it looks like caramel popcorn or something, right? And so we just smoothed it out, did a little bit of wish.com OSL on it, and then, really a dry brush of details on the model color. So you can do this, and you can find, fairly inexpensive armies you may want to play that have already been painted by other people, but not to a high standard. But you can look at it and say, I'm not mad about that color, but the application's not the way I would do it. And then you can turn it into the application you want without a whole lot of heavy lifting. And now you have a inexpensive army that you can play. So some fun things that you can do out there that, will allow you to do repaints and put it in and put a little bit of effort into it and turn something into a much better looking model.
I got another miniature painting 101 question.
Sure.
On the model you just showed, can you put that back in?
Yeah.
So I see there's tons of yellow, I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
When painting something like this, do you tend to, because you've put yellow, I mean, obviously you have multiple brushes, but like, do you want to get all the yellows done first? Like, how do you attack something like this? There's a lot of detail in there.
Yeah, great question. For me, my brain goes to what's the most color on a model that I'm going to use. So I would start with that. And there's also what I call inside out method. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but that's the way I call it, inside out. You want to paint the deep parts of the model first, because the places that are hardest to get the brush, start there so you don't have to go back. Because if you have to go back and like paint like up inside the underarm and between the legs later on, you have risk getting paint outside the lines. So there's that. But there's also the fact that like this guy is mostly this kind of weird stone green color, right? And so I probably want to try to start there if I can, because then I can apply that messier to cover the bigger areas, and then just zone in and do like this little steel shield and the little bits here and the skulls. And yeah, you have to get detailed to get in there, but that's the nature of the beast. You're always going to have to be steady and kind of keep the paint where it goes, but it allows you to be a little more forgiving as you go if you paint the large color first and then work the details in after it.
Good to know.
That's the general gist of it. Every model is going to have maybe a nuance that makes that change. A lot of times when we do like Space Marines are the big thing. This is the big Warhammer 40K. Probably the most sold models in the history of models are Space Marines.
I love the dust on the feet.
And so Space Marines, they're in video games and stuff, but the Space Marines are generally just a suit of armor that's a color, right? Maybe two colors. So with a Space Marine, you're like, what's easiest is to just paint the blue and then dial in all the details. But then you'll have models that are like fantasy models, like Bilbo. Well, Bilbo doesn't have a color that he is. So this is like, okay, this is inside out. This is where I probably want to paint this shirt first because it's under the skin, under the belt, under the coat. Yeah. So start there, or maybe even the pants first. And then next I would be like, okay, next I probably want to paint the coat because it's under the hair, under the skin, all that. And then paint the skin. So I'm working from the inner layers outward to avoid that having to get the brush to touch places I don't want it to.
Ooh, you should put in there some little cotton from a cotton swab for the smoke of the pipe.
That's fun to do. I typically don't do that much. I don't like it's a weird thing for me. I don't like materials that aren't the same as the model on the model. And yet we'll do like little tufts of grassy material on the bases, but I still paint them and treat them like the model, right? But yeah, doing things like those effects are really cool and can add a lot to it. It's Warhammer, man. What blues are on that Marine? We actually have a methodology for that. That starts with probably dark purple, because I start all my blues with dark purple. And then into blue and sky blue, and then blue transparent over the top, and then back to sky blue as a highlight, and probably a little touch of white as the shine.
We also probably have a methodology on painting fire and a short, I believe, on painting fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to get, there was a question about how would you paint fire.
Fire well, I say it's easy. It's easy in context because fire is bright at its source of ignition or where the heat comes from. So burning logs are brightest to where the flame hits the log, and then they go out through, like, say you're just using standard oxygen burning, organic material. It's going to be that kind of bright pale yellow near white at the center of the flame, and then it's going to go through its bright yellows into oranges into reds, and then if it's a sooty flame, you can go from the reddish to a black smoke. But remember that the bright spot for fire is where the fire started, and it gets darker as it goes outward from there. If you paint it like a normal thing, which is like it's darker at the bottom and brighter at the top, it'll be backwards. That's the only thing.
Wait a second. You painted... Can I see that thing?
What I'm holding?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, these are bristles off of a house paintbrush that I cut off and then put the bristles in here and then painted them all to match the grass that I painted on the background.
I'm blown away by that is some detail in there.
That's all painted.
It's all painted.
Yeah, all of
no
the scratches.
around that.
This model is smooth with no detail. And so I painted all the scratches on there to do that.
Jason,
And also painted the background and all. The thing that blows people's minds on this one is my favorite thing. Like when people say, okay, what I'm most proud of when you asked earlier is probably this, because look at the crows. And look at the way the telephone lines or the power lines go in the background. Look at how the background's at. Look at how the lines actually hit the background. Yeah. And then look how the crows, when you put it in context, it doesn't look like that. It looks like this is still part of the.
Wait, you painted that too?
Oh yeah, everything.
My God.
Jason's an okay painter.
That is really good.
So yeah, this is the kind of diorama thing we were talking about. This is just a model for art. It's not part of a game or anything. It's just made to tell a story. Can you back out to the full zoom?
I don't know crew out there, but I mean, I'm right here in the room, and that's pretty impressive. Yeah. I can hardly tie my shoes.
But yeah, someone was mentioning, like, put the tufts on, prime the tufts, paint the tufts as if they were part of the model, and I tell people, if you're doing armies and you're going quick, then putting the little green tuft or brown tuft on the model at the end and gluing it down and running with it, great. If you're looking to paint for detail, especially at the point where you're trying to get, like, maybe you want best painted at the tournament you're going to, paint the tufts, paint the little piece of wood you put on there to be a stump on the base. Paint everything. Don't go to the hobby store and get jeweler's chain and put it on your corn berserkers and leave it the crappy fake gold from Hobby Lobby. Prime it, paint it, make it, put as much effort into all of that as you do on the rest of the model. Because it'll kill all the work that you've done by not doing it.
Kriegs, that is excellent news.
What happened?
Got home. Pulled in the Monument Hobbies One Step, etc. order for my 4-day weekend.
Yes. Oh boy, it is a long weekend.
Well.
Oh my gosh,
we're here tomorrow.
Well, but it's still
Monday.
All we do is stream, and that's fun.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah. Yep. All right, it's 4:30.
All right, everybody.
Oh man.
Time for us to jet. We got to take Zach over to the factory and show him what we really do.
And then get some food.
And we need to eat.
Store FLGS.
EU.
Well, I will hopefully see you guys.
I would love to have you back, man. That'd be great. We'll stick you up here with a brush and see if we can't have some chaos.
I'd be totally down for
some
that.
Chaos.
What's the command for EU?
!EU.
It is? I feel like I've done that one before and it didn't work.
Ta-da! You did it in the Twitch. There's not a command in Twitch for it.
Okay. I gotcha.
Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out and watching some paint dry with us. You know how this goes. We would love to have you back if it's your first time here, if you came through on a raid, or if you just stumbled upon us on the internet on this Thursday. Make sure to hit the follow or the subscribe button, depending on where you're watching us. We stream live Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monument Standard Time here in Phoenix, Arizona, on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. So no matter what your platform is, we got you covered. We'd love to see you back and hang out with us. Make sure the links that Jen just put up in the chat, you can jump onto our Discord server where we have over 7,000 amazing artists that you can gain inspiration from, tell fart jokes with, trade recipes, make friends, make fun of. They're a great bunch of humans, sort of human, that we love to hang out with. We'd love to see you over there. It's also a good direct line to information from us and to be able to just chat with us. We're always in Discord hanging out, telling jokes, and taking part in the fun. So we'd love to have you part of the community. So join us over there. Make sure to go buy some paint and brushes. Turn your gray models into wonderful, colorful works of art. for monumenthobbies.com and monumenthobbies.eu. Remember, we do have an EU warehouse and a full Monument staff over in France where we cover the EU now. So go check out the EU website if you're in the rest of the world, or monumenthobbies.com if you're over here in North America, in the Western Hemisphere. We'd love to see you. So thanks so much for all your support. Stick around.
Dane, thank you for being patient. Having it shipped the exact same week of a big release like this is pretty good. So thank you for being patient, waiting those extra couple days. And hopefully the shipping is quick for you.
Yeah, Monday to Thursday is really good.
That's
on
really
a release.
Good. On a release,
we've actually
one of our biggest, maybe our biggest release ever.
For us, that's still within our service time. We usually ship quicker. So if you bought from us before on a normal standard, we're 24 to 48 hours in shipping. But being 7.2 is really good considering this was our biggest release ever. So thanks for your support. But everybody, real quick, is the Shadow Flesh one step supposed to separate a ton into like a pink and gold? Well, all of the one steps will, once they're in the bottle, look like they're separating like that. That's why you'll just pick it up and shake it. You're fine. Even if in the bottle it looks like it's still separated, remember you've got paint along the plastic. You can't see what the paint inside the bottle looks like when you're dealing with acrylic paints. So that's fine. I would. This is how I've been using it. It's fine. All of the one steps will show separation more. Like this one where you've got the kind of milky white and the separation down in the graphite gray, and then you shake it up and you're immediately done. So they reconstitute immediately, but you will see separation in there just because of the formulation we use. But don't let it freak you out. Just shake it once or twice. You're good to go. Good to go. All right. Everybody, thank you so much. Stick around. Jen's going to find you somebody to raid, or I will when I help over there. And
I'm right here.
She's going to raid somebody. So show some love in the chat we wind up in, and have a wonderful evening with some more hobby goodness on your Thursday. And we will catch you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.
Bye, everyone.
Yay, yay.